Guess you didn't see.
Welcome, gamers, to Basement Arcade Pause Menu, the show where we hit pause, sit back, and just chill. I am your host, Ben Magnet, and it is that time. It is the time of summer. It is the time of the check-in. I am here with my bros with the Fake Nerd Podcast, Sparkz Witty and Ryan Eleopoulos, because, guys, it is getting really freaking hot outside, but you know what's getting hotter? Video games, baby! That's what we're here to talk about.
It's 90 degrees outside, and it's 90 degrees in the video game industry, because boy howdy, was this a hot summer of games, let me tell you.
Oh, so hot, and we are just getting started. Guys, it has been a while. I know normally we would do a Basement Arcade Pause Menu quarterly where we talk about news, but just for the viewers, the listeners, the watchers, and everyone else out there, life has happened.
It's true. It's been a few months since our last episode.
Yeah, we didn't.
It has been a while. I mean,
I was gonna say we didn't do a quarterly. Mostly, honestly, I think, Ben, it didn't happen because you were on your Japan trip, and at a certain point, it just became, we'll just wait.
Yeah, it was me overseas in Japan, and then it was me adjusting to life after Japan, and then it was a bunch of other life stuff that has been going on. But we're here. It's essentially, this is like our summer check-in. I mean, the good news is I do have a Basement Arcade regular Pause Menu episode recorded. That's not out yet, but it will be eventually. And there are more episodes on the way, I promise. But until then, guys, how have you been? I missed you. Holy crap.
Ben, I missed you too. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I miss you guys. Yeah, it's the quarterly 1 and 2. I was prepared to not be on quarterly 1. I honestly was prepared to not be back for a while, but there's just too many video games I want to talk about that I'll play in 6 to 8 years.
And yeah, not months, years.
Years.
Yeah, it do be like that.
I have been busy playing my favorite game called Hot Potato, where I try and put my baby down and see if she'll actually stay asleep.
The game of life.
That's been my 6 months of gaming.
6 months.
I mean, I was about to say, Sparkz, you're playing the greatest game of all, fatherhood.
Oh,
that's true. I said 6 months. I meant 5 months.
DLC every day.
Yeah. It's hard to game. It's hard to do anything else.
You thought Elden Ring was hard.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. But it's good. It's rewarding in its own way. But I'm really excited to talk about video games.
Yeah, it's been
I can appreciate and love the culture, even if I'm not playing a lot of it.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? You've done enough Helldives. You've done enough Fortnites.
That's true.
Where I think you can contribute to the conversation.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've played some things.
Some things have happened.
There are other things that we're not gonna. I played a lot of Pokemon Snap. We're not really gonna get into it. It's been an easy thing when oh, she's asleep. I guess I'll do a round of Pokemon Snap.
New Pokemon Snap?
Yeah.
Oh, is it good? Or is it like?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I played it before. I love it. It's been just a nice once in a while. Not very often. Just I have to stay awake because she's probably about to get up, or I'm just monitoring her to make sure that my wife can sleep more.
My wife.
And so this was earlier, honestly, than where we're at right now in her life. But it was just more advantageous for me to just sit there on the Switch with a Pokemon Snap, because Pokemon Snap, she wakes up, I could just put that down.
Yeah, there's no real stakes.
No stakes whatsoever. I'm just not taking any more photos on this trip. Whatever.
Yeah, you'll catch that Pikachu next time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Ben,
that sounds like the perfect game to just be
you're
your daughter's in her crib, and you're just on the chair, just rocking back, and just you're like, oh yeah, pause, look, stare.
So the
Go
reason
back to playing it then.
The reason Pokemon Snap's so good for it, fathers of young children, early on in your fatherhood, listen up, is because, so let's say I took a bunch of pictures on the round, right? And then my daughter starts waking up. I'll just put the Switch down. I help get her back to sleep. When I go to check in, it finished the map. And I might not have taken the rest of the pictures, but if I got any good ones in the first chunk, they're still there.
Yeah.
I can still log those pictures.
You just took a nap on the rest of it.
I just didn't finish the rest of the map.
You just took a nap in the safari car on the ride home.
But so even then, even when you're stopping, the progress you already made isn't just gone.
Yeah.
If you took a good picture, it's not, oh no, my picture's gone.
Yeah, it's a no stress game.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I play a Snap game too, but it's not Pokemon. It's Marvel. Because
I play that on occasion.
Because that takes 2 to 3 minutes for a match. And I'm like, wow.
Mobile games have been really popular for me right now.
Yeah.
I've been swapping around like 5 of them because also something where it's easy because it's right there and harder to get back to the console or the PC.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about mobile games. Bleh.
Bleh. Bleh. Actually, we're going to talk about one.
I will say most of those mobile games are bleh, but there are some decent ones. I mean, I do have a free trial of Apple Arcade that I need to try because that also comes with Sonic Dream Team, and I need to give that a shot before it.
I played Everybody Loves Golf or Everybody Golfs for a couple weeks there on my new Apple i15. That's expensive. Yeah, I'm poor. Well, Ben, speaking of poor, there's a lot of games we played before we talk about all the games we're going to buy later this year. Yeah. So why don't we jump in to what games we've been playing these last 3 to 4 months? How about that?
Yes.
You like it? Yes. Why don't we take a transition to... Not this page. Not this page. Uh-oh. Multiversus. This is the page. I freaked out for a second. Mr. Sparkz Witty.
Yeah.
You're on the stand today to defend Multiversus.
Ooh, to defend it.
Yeah.
Sure. Is it because I've been playing it the most?
You've been playing it so much.
I have been playing it a lot.
It is also, again, an easy game to get in and out of.
That's true. Again, especially if I'm doing like rifts and not PvP, it's like, oh no, I have to run. But the matches are fairly quick, so I'm like, I could just like do stuff.
If this is your first time watching this stream by any chance, what's Multiversus?
Multiversus is basically Super Smash Brothers, but with Warner Brothers properties.
True.
Ryan and I were really, really hot on this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is a part of the problem.
We were really, really hot on this during its beta that everybody at the time was very confident was just going to like roll into initial release because they even went to a second season in that beta. So everyone was like, okay, so the game's just kind of going to launch this way.
A bunch of characters, you can buy a bunch of stuff.
Everybody was ready for that, and then it shut down for a year.
Over a year, I feel like.
No, I think it was a year active and then a year shut down.
That's so crazy.
But when this first came out, like obviously if you've been with us for a while, you know that on the Fake Nerd podcast here on Basement Arcade also, we talked about Multiversus in anticipation of it and thought this seems terrible. This seems like junk. The reality is, and I think this part is still true about the game, the love and passion for the franchise characters and like bringing references to their properties through their movesets and how they interact in the maps and even what you're seeing in this trailer, like they love these properties. This is very well thought out. It's
Absolutely.
Very considerate, and it's super solid. The problem, I think, is that the game engine is totally different. So over that year, they switched to a different engine.
Yeah.
And had to essentially redo the game on a different engine.
And it does look nicer. It does look better.
It looks better.
The fidelity is crisper. It does look like a better game. But
a lot of really confusing to the beta players changes were made to the game. So when they started it, they're like, these are things that feel like they still should have been tested out in beta, but here we are at launch.
Yeah.
And a lot of players either don't like these things or feel like they still need to be
worked on,
fleshed out because it starts off being so different.
What I liked about Multiversus in the beta, the game's very fast. It's very quick. It is you are running across, especially if you're a fast character, like I like playing Finn, you're moving across that map so fast.
Ben, I just saw Ben's reaction. Ben, is this your first time watching this?
This trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jason and Agent Smith are key new characters in the game at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I saw the Iron Giant, I was like, he's like Joker's new, Iron Giant's new.
Iron Giant was in the beta.
LeBron James.
Oh, he was in the beta. Never mind.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like the second I saw like Jason Voorhees and like Agent Smith, I'm like, that's not what.
And
I don't remember
Jason's. I love playing as Jason. That dude's awesome. Yeah. He's super fun. All the characters, like he's right. Like all the love to the detail of the characters and the worlds and the maps are fantastic. From the beta to the game now, I'm not exaggerating. It feels like 25% slower. It's like I'm moving in molasses compared to how fast I used to move.
Right.
And it's like it is so noticeable. And like I can still the game's still fun to play. It's just I actively feel like I'm not as fast as I used to be, and it's just something I'm still not over. And I played a bunch of the game now since it's been out for the last couple of weeks. And it is a good game, but also the new microtransactions and a new way of earning credits and stuff. It's like it's a little slower than it used to be. There's more of it.
Slower. They are slowly responding to feedback. So like, I do think that we're kind of headed in a direction where most of the things that exist in the beta, as far as like non-direct gameplay things, but all the semantics around the game are kind of going to come back. Like
stuff.
We've gotten back to originally when the game launched, they took away the ability to play any character in training, regardless of if you own them or not. They've restored that because that got huge fan backlash. They have been responding to people saying like it's too hard to earn up through the battle pass. We used to earn more currency because you can earn to unlock characters. You don't have to spend money on this game. It was faster in the beta. You could feel that you easily could progress without too much grind to unlock characters. It has been more of a challenge in this new version, but they are adjusting. They've been working currencies back into for everything you do rather than just PvP. So everything you do
loops into each other.
To it. They've been very kind, I think, with adding in variant costumes that you can earn through doing a certain amount of missions. And they're constantly cycling those kinds of things. So I think there's still room to improve, but I do think they are being incredibly engaged and responsive to the community. I don't think that it's lost on any of the developers that they have to work to get the community on board with the game as it is, or the game will die. And I think that they're working towards that end all the time. I think that they're very engaged. There's a lot of responses, both from like official Multiversus accounts and some of the game developers' own personal accounts, where they are trying to directly engage with the fan base a lot. And I think that they recognize they want to please the community in as broad a sense as possible, and they're really working on that. Some of the speed stuff has been a response to that, because what they said is that they were responding to a lot of the beta players who felt like in PvP there were times where they just like got wrecked, because it was a lot more how good are you at the game. And slowing that it's true. It's true. And I think it's a miscalculation. I think that there should be a better kind of like how Fortnite kind of knows how to gauge roughly how good you are. Like, it won't put you up against the toughest Fortnite players unless you are one of them. Like it kind of has a
skill
matches. And I think Multiversus needed that more than it needed to slow all the game down to make it more accessible for everybody.
It is funny when like you and I were playing the other day, and then we get into a match with a guy who's won like 1,500 matches. And I'm like, oh my god, what? And like sometimes like hey, we still did all right though.
We did. This is also the thing is that there's still so much that I think that they're doing well with the game. A lot of the disability access things that you can do on your end to make it so that you can play the game in whatever way you want to engage. And I think even making it so that there's more game to do that's outside of PvP has been a plus, because there's a lot of people who want to play it. And want to play it on their terms. And again, like they're very good at like colorblind and scaling of movement that you can control, that makes it easier for people with disabilities to be able to play the game. That's really thoughtful stuff, and it doesn't happen all the time, especially with these kinds of games. So like there's so much good about what the developers want to do with this, what they've been doing with this, and there's a lot of content that we still haven't seen come out yet, because they've also been developing new stuff since the beta that hasn't released in the game, like new characters that we know are coming down the road.
They have years, like it leaked like the characters that are coming, and we know the characters coming for the next 2 to 3 years. Like we know like Gandalf's coming eventually, Godzilla will be here, like any character from Warner Brothers that you can think of, like eventually will show up in here.
Right. And I really want it to succeed. I want it to, and I think hopefully it's going to keep getting better, because they keep responding to the fans, they keep patching it, they keep working with the community to improve the game. It's not what you want to be the situation at launch. This still feels like we should be in beta. And it has been talked about, like that it does seem that there was a overhead decision to change the engine for the game, and so I feel for the developers, because I don't think that this was the choice they wanted to make. I think if they'd had their way, they would have stayed in beta to perfect the game on the old engine and then just launched it.
Also, this is Warner Brothers, the king of shitty live service games. So, like, remember Suicide Squad came out a couple months ago where they had the exact same implementations.
And that's another thing that you can feel the developers kind of fighting back against the live service stuff that has been forced on them.
Yeah.
Because, again, they are trying to apply more ways. Frankly, the fact that you can still reasonably earn characters in the game is such a really nice thing, because we really could have come back to a version, and I think it would have killed the game immediately, where you couldn't.
Yeah.
You had to just purchase.
Yeah.
Or purchase passes or whatever. And we're not there, fortunately.
Yeah. And as someone who loves fighting games, but, like, isn't always in the mood for PvP, I love fighting games when I can just fight AI. So, like, the Rifts, I do really enjoy the Rifts.
I really like the Rifts. They've done a good job. So the Rifts are basically working like story mode, Ben.
Mortal Kombat does the exact same thing. They do the exact same rift thing.
And every other rift has like a cute cutscene thing. We were watching the Jason one a moment ago for the Friday
like
13th
beautifully
rift.
Animated stuff too.
Yeah, really cool stuff. And then you got like little dialogue trees that are fun of characters engaging as you go through the storyline of the rift.
That's fun.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you.
Question. Quick question: is Kevin Conroy still the voice of Batman?
Yeah, 100%. He recorded all the dialogue I think they're ever going to really need of Batman.
Years ago.
He won't really talk with any. He won't have new lines with any new characters.
Yeah.
Specific to them, because he has some dialogue that's like, he says Shaggy's name and things like that. So like he has a certain amount of lines to engage directly with characters that were there in the beta. So he won't get any new dialogue like that, but Kevin Conroy has enough lines that he's covered for the game. He also, every character has an announcer pack, which means that you can unlock them and they become your announcer voice. So they recorded a bunch of lines where they're the announcer and Kevin Conroy has his as Batman.
Yeah,
so you can have Kevin Conroy's Batman as your announcer for the match, and he'll say like, "Let's get this fight going," that kind of thing.
What's his name? Superman? Is it Tim Daly? What's his name?
Yeah.
He's my announcer voice, so whenever I go to an option, it's Superman talking to me.
And I have Bugs Bunny as mine.
Rad.
So that's really cool
Rad.
stuff, and it is great that, and I think that's the only reason that Mark Hamill is the Joker, by the way, for this one, because we know that Mark Hamill said he wasn't going to voice the Joker anymore after Kevin Conroy passed.
But this must have been done for a while.
First off, I'm sure that Mark Hamill recorded this when Kevin Conroy was still alive. Second, I think it doesn't bother anybody because Kevin Conroy is the Batman for this game.
Absolutely.
So it ended up also being probably the last time we get new dialogue of Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Yeah. I really like this game. I think the comeback hurt it for me a little bit, but like if they can just stick with it, and like it's clear that the developers love this game and they want to work on this game, and this is like a big Warner Brothers like cash cow for like the next couple years if they can get it right. So like I'm sure it'll only get better and better over time.
We know there's some characters that have me really excited because I'm really interested in how they're going to implement them. We know Samurai Jack and the Powerpuff Girls are coming down the line.
Yeah.
There's heavy hints that we're getting Dexter in some form.
Oh yeah, we got Dexter's lab.
We already have his lab as a map.
Yeah.
The more of those Cartoon Network characters, to be honest with you, has me really jazzed.
Yeah.
Because they've done such a good job implementing who's already here. I'm really interested in like engaging with Samurai Jack and using him in this game, and using maybe Gumball and Darwin have been long requested ones for this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool characters they can pull in. And I'm super, super interested in how they're going to pull that off. So I really hope the game continues to succeed.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
Work with its community.
This is certainly a much better show and game. Showing and game than the new Funko Pop game that was announced.
Oh my god.
Which we are not talking about because I saw that there was a thing level and that made me want to throw up.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of not throwing up, guys, let's go fast.
Then I hope we can get you back into Multiversus. That would be fun. We'll have to do it.
Sparkz, talk to me real quick about Rumble in the Jungle.
Hey guys, so Sonic Rumble is basically Fall Guys with Sonic. It is a mobile game. I got into the beta for it, so I got to play it a bit. And what I will say is that it is exactly what I just said. It's Fall Guys, but with Sonic. I think the problem that I have with it is you can do everything that Sonic characters can usually do. So like a homing attack, that Ben would know what that is, and all that kind of stuff. And like you could do double jumps, and the obstacles in the course are like Fall Guys ones, which part of why Fall Guys works is because you're kind of working against fumbly bumbly mechanics. You're not supposed to be well coordinated. Well, it's kind of designed the same, so there's no real challenge in the obstacle courses, if that makes sense. You're able to pass through them with ease, and it's really just who's going to get through it first, or with the most points, depending on what level you're on. And that's kind of all there is to it. Now, I think there's some inherent value into, like, this is, a more, kids can play it easily kind of thing. And I think that's fine. The other thing, though, is, like, you would argue, like, well, of course, Sonic has to be able to move normal. He's Sonic. But the thing is, these characters that you're playing are not the actual characters. What you're seeing right here, where they're on their little pedestals and everything, these are Eggman creations, and so they're little bot figures.
It's like Super Smash Brothers.
So
almost.
they don't have
like Smash toys,
right? So they don't have to move like the real characters. You wouldn't have to question, why can't Sonic double jump when Sonic always can double jump? He doesn't need to here, because he's not really Sonic.
Yeah.
You could have done that and explained away and then gone for, like, kind of pulling back the mechanics a bit so the obstacles were tougher. They didn't do that, and while I think it's cool to, like, visually see all this stuff, and there's definitely, like, I only got to play a handful of levels, like, not everything that you're seeing in the trailer here. I think hardcore Sonic fans will still enjoy it, but I don't know really how long it'll keep them. And I have no idea how easy it is to, like, play with friends and coordinate that, because that wasn't something available to me in the beta. So,
I mean, it looks cute. That's the thing about
it looks like a good
I would say it
time.
looks-
Yeah.
It's totally cute, but I think even the most staunchant Sonic fan, if they engage with Fall Guys at all, will do about 3 levels and then be like, why would I do this when I could do Fall Guys, though?
Yeah, it feels like you have to be like the most hardcore Sonic fans, and you most like mobile games.
Yeah.
Which is I don't know how big that demographic is.
I really don't either. I really don't know how well this is going to pop off. I think the fundamental problem to me is just that the obstacle courses don't feel challenging because you mechanically can maneuver around them easily. I never encountered anything that I was like, oh, I'm going to screw up and fall off the map here or something like that. Or, oh, this is going to bump me back because I was able to jump over it or run past it or
like
whatever.
You said, the premise itself, it's like Eggman created these things, so, like, he could have control over them. Like, you guys have none of your powers, and you have to do this obstacle course for me.
You could be fumbly bumbly in, like, and I think the level design is cool. Like, seeing the Sonic pieces, the aesthetics of Sonic used this way is really cool. I really enjoy that.
But it's not challenging.
Yeah. So,
well,
that's my takeaway from the beta. We'll see how people feel about it when it comes out later this year.
Rumbling into iPhones and Androids later this year. All right, boys. Are you ready to get democratic?
I love democracy.
Yes.
All right. So before a little DLC came out yesterday, this wasn't my game of the year. Helldivers 2. The game that swept the world by fire, by managed democracy. It's great. Helldivers 2 is a multiplayer shooter, a sequel to a almost 10-year-old game that, like, 7,000 people played. And it turned into the biggest game of the year simply by being a really good live service game.
Yep.
How you do a live service game, how you monetize a live service game. This is the model of how you do it right. And it has only been getting more popular over time. It's insane.
And
And
the best part, it's only $40.
Only $40.
Yeah.
There is a monthly battle pass, so, like, which you do not have to buy. It is simply, hey, this is the Rambo battle pass. Do you want to wear, like, Rambo stuff and you want to have, like, a cool knife? It does give you more weapons and perks, but, like, they don't. It's not pay to win. It's pay to have more things.
Yeah.
Which, again, you can earn in-game. It takes a long time, just like any game where you have to, earn an in-game credit. But you don't have to spend money to enjoy this game. And besides buying the game, I've only bought one battle pass. And I put almost 100 hours in this game this year, you guys.
Yeah.
I am obsessed. I love this game.
I've really enjoyed the amount of time I've gotten to play it. And I do want to get back to it because I think it's a lot of fun. I think the balance of the game is really, really good. It throws my little Fortnite brain off a little bit. But
yeah, Yeah.
I think
plays so
good.
different.
It challenges all my Fortnite instincts.
Do not reload
good.
challenge.
Yeah. But I think that's
because when we Sparkz, real quick, because when we play Fortnite, because we have played Fortnite for a few times here and there throughout the year.
Sure.
Because Fortnite is it's you guys, it's your squad versus everyone else, and what I love so much is because this game is cooperative. It's you, your squad, or maybe some randos, whatever, but you're all trying to work together, and I think that's like one of the best things about this game is that instead of you constantly trying to be like prove that you're better than everyone else, you're all working towards a goal, and if something happens, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and the gameplay of this game is great, right? On its own, this would be a really good game. But I think the thing that really pushes it forward is the live service aspect of it, and that there are weekly missions, and there's a big galactic map with 100 planets on it that over time we will explore all of these planets, all these different ecosystems. But over time, depending on how well you do, you and your army, the enemies will advance on Super Earth, the place in the middle of the map, where a big event will eventually happen, I'm sure. But it is a constant push and pull of a live galactic like battlefront. The first game did this too, but again, that game had such a small fan base, like no one really knew what they had until this game came out. And to see there are millions of people spread across the galaxy, all trying to save it at once, and then a big mission comes to like, hey, today's mission, we have to save this planet, or you guys don't get the next weapon in your inventory.
Right.
Like you just don't get it. That causes millions of people to focus on a single planet, and it is like an actual like liberation. It is like an actual event. It's so cool. It is like there's no other game like this. It's incredible.
Speaking to the live service model, I feel like it learned all the lessons of what Destiny 2 did wrong. Like I've really felt this is that this is like the mission statement Destiny 2 wanted to have, the engagement Destiny in general wanted to have, and Helldivers 2 has simplified it and thus executed on it perfectly. You might not have all the complex story pieces that Destiny could offer you.
I would say there's none.
But that doesn't matter.
Not at all.
And it's like, but in terms of the mechanics of how missions and the battlefield and like where you go and what's needed at what planet, that kind of thing, this is the stuff that Destiny screwed up.
Yeah.
That made Destiny not connect with a larger community than just the Destiny community that's been with it since the beginning.
And they also, not to talk about Destiny at all, but like they're like vaulting stories, like story modes and like missions that like you bought years ago,
right? Because
their game like can't afford to have like all this stuff in like the single like space.
Yeah.
And I'm like, y'all like, and that the final shape, which is the final Destiny 2 expansion, is out now. So like, whatever the future of Destiny is like a new thing, which is kind of exciting because like now I can jump on whatever's next because like they finished their 10-year arc.
Yeah.
That's a lot of game that I'm never going to get to probably, which is crazy to think of. But you know what? Helldivers 2, I've been in that story since day one, baby. They make it easy. They make it easy on you.
That's really the thing I want to highlight is that Helldivers 2, I think, has learned what is the important part of live service engagement. What do you value? And the value is like, sure, we can monetarily make money off of people if they want to buy these things, but it's important to encourage them to just earn it.
Yeah.
And they keep that available. This, honestly, some of parts of it remind me of the early Multiversus shop stuff and currency and earning. And that increases engagement because while I think that something that this game in particular has valued more is that engagement with the game is more profitable than purchases of passes and skins and things like that. For them, it's about game engagement. And if you encourage game engagement by being able to earn things that you could also choose to shortcut and buy, people will want to play it more. And the constant updating and rotating of what's happening in the universe keeps people just like hungry for it. I'm really impressed and I really like it. And this one stunned us when the first trailer came out, and I'm happy to say that it's just a solid game.
Yeah, absolutely. And like it's so fun because every single week you're going on a different planet. And it's not like the planets are incredibly drastically different. Like there's like a rocky planet and there's like a Vietnam planet and there's like a water planet, right? But like they mix them up enough where like every week you're going to a different part of the different part of the universe. Yeah. And like there's like over 100 planets That's crazy.
Right.
Like, they didn't have to go that hard. And like, I cannot imagine being the people in charge of this live service. It must be so fun just seeing like an overview of like, this is how the war effort's going. And like the main guy, like he's called like the war general. His name's Joel. This guy Joel, who works for this company, he's the guy who makes things really hard out of nowhere for certain people on certain maps. He's a guy who actually can join your game without you knowing it, see how you're doing, and then spawn weapons and enemies for you or against you in mid game. Yeah. It's incredible. It's such a fun world to live in. All the the satirical like super democracy of Super Earth is just really fun. Like again, this is like
make no mistake, this is one of my favorite new games of the year. I think it's really, really solid. Yeah. I like it more than Multiversus. The only reason I haven't been playing it as much and have been playing Multiversus more is because unlike Multiversus, I can't just stop on Helldivers.
No, that's the thing. Helldivers missions.
Should my daughter start to wake up, I can't just abandon my bros.
Yeah, Helldivers missions are some are 10 minutes, some are 40 minutes. Yeah. That's definitely You definitely spend a lot of time on playing.
Helldivers, you need to like put some time away. It's not like a quick like, oh, I'll just hop into like a Fortnite match or two. It's like if you're playing Helldivers, that's a commitment.
Yeah. Helldivers, every time I've gotten to play it, has been an agreement between Megan and I. Like, I'm playing games with friends tonight, and unless you really need me, I'm staying down there. So even if she does, sir, I know Megan's getting her.
Yeah.
Like Megan is prepared to not sleep super great if she gets up for the first half of the night, so that I could do that, and that's the only way I'm able to do it. Is because it takes commitment, but I love it. It's a great game. It's a great game.
And they keep adding weapons and new enemies, and they keep lying about adding enemies. So like people will be on Twitter when a new enemy, like there's a new flying bug, right? And people will be on Twitter with videos of the flying bug. The developers of the game going, "This is a conspiracy. Can you please delete this video? This is not real." It's so fun. It's so good. Yeah. The conspiracy stuff behind the scenes and with the marketing, it's so good. There's a new alien race, a third faction coming sometime soon, eventually, that we've been seeing hints of for months. It's really the best live service game I've ever played. And we're 4 months in now. Like, I don't think they're gonna bungle it. I think like they figured it out. They got all the quirks out of the way. All the server issues are out of the way. I think this is just gonna be an incredible game for the next couple of years, like with no problems. And I'm like, I'm just happy to be here.
I think very much in the same way as like, Fortnite gets to dominate its space to a degree because it was the first to get popular in a way of its own niche.
Yeah.
And so like other things that try to copy Fortnite can't really compete. Helldivers 2 has broken new ground in what live service can do, and hopefully more games will try to replicate the model.
Yeah.
I do like this model. It is what I want more games to do, but obviously not every game is going to be able to reach for what Helldivers 2 has achieved because they got here first.
Yeah.
This is a different way of engaging with live service, and I do think it is, if we're going to keep getting live service games, this is the future of the model.
Yeah.
You can't keep copying Fortnite. It's been proven time and time again that doesn't work.
Yeah. And I play plenty of these types of like, this isn't exactly a horde shooter in the traditional sense like Left 4 Dead where you're going narratively through a level, but it is a open world horde shooter. But like I played all types of games like Darktide and Vermintide and Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood. I've played all these types of games, and like this is the one that I think has come out on top of like, this is how you really do it. This is how you cement yourself as like a top tier developer, and like just congratulations, Arrowhead Games. Like,
it's so impressive.
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah,
I love you, Helldivers too.
Any last thoughts on that, Ben?
I think you guys nailed it, especially with the live service, because I keep forgetting that Helldivers is a live service game. I just have so much fun playing it. Mostly, like I said earlier, the reason why I'm enjoying playing this game more than I am Fortnite. I'm not to say that I'm not enjoying Fortnite anymore. I still am, but I just love the cooperative aspect of this game. The this is what multiplayer games should start maybe leaning towards a little bit more co-op, more like you versus the enemy AI. You can change the difficulty. Obviously, you can change the difficulty, and it's just fun. And also, the memes coming out of this have been hilarious. Like, how many times have you yelled at, or like even when we played, it's like, "I'm throwing in the eagle," and then we hear Brandon, one of our other friends from the Fake Nerds, yells, "No, no, no, no!" And we accidentally kill. Or the time, last time when Brandon and I were playing Helldivers, I was like blasting away bugs, and then Brandon walks in front of my line of fire and dies.
I definitely did not accidentally kill Brandon and Ben the first time we played all 4 of us together.
Oh yeah,
I definitely did not accidentally drop a weapon on them.
My favorite thing about the stratagems, which are, if you haven't played Helldivers, you've seen in the video, or if you're listening, you have a bunch of stratagems. So you can throw bombs, you can throw down turrets, you can get weapons from your ship in the sky.
Right.
But eagles, exactly. But if you activate it and then get knocked down, it's still activated. So it'll drop at your feet, or it'll roll down a hill, and you will kill all your friends. There is no friendly fire in this game. So, like, you were killing your there is friendly fire, excuse me.
Yeah, there is friendly fire.
Yeah, so you are killing your friends all the time, and, like, they want you to.
Yeah,
like,
the first time we played, Ryan had a flamethrower equipped, and constantly I was getting in the ricochet zone because flames bounce off the ground up onto me and killed me. I got burned to a crisp a lot.
Yeah, and I wanted to try the flamethrower because up until then, people weren't using the flamethrower because it wasn't strong enough, and then they buffed it like 25% stronger. So then I started using it, and it kills you instantly. Love it. Great game. Love it. This game came out in 2024. But Ben, we're gonna go back to the 90s, nostalgic bitch. Tell me about Pokemon Fire Red. I had to find this trailer from 2004.
Jesus, I mean, we're not going back to the 90s. We're going back to 2004. Yeah, because I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Fire Red recently because, as everyone knows by now, I came back from Japan. I had this big trip at the end of March, and when I was there, I had a mission. My mission was to try and find a complete in-box Famicom colored Game Boy Advance SP, which only came out in Japan. Here in America, we got the NES one. Well, the Game Boy Advance itself, the device looks like an NES. But in Japan, you got the color tones of the Famicom, the original console or our version of the NES out in Japan. I found it, and when I was playing it, I was like, man, I can't see squat, because it was an original screen Game Boy Advance, like, because it was front-lit, not backlit. Mm-hmm. And I came back home. I had a good friend of mine. He was able to put a beautiful IPS screen in it. And one of my other good friends, Jeff, when he moved across the country, he gave me one of his old games, and that included Fire Red. So essentially, I've been playing Fire Red to play with the new IPS screen. So that's why I've been playing Fire Red recently, and it's just fun to go back to a version of Pokemon where it's OG, but it looks pretty. It just looks a lot better than it did on the original Game Boy.
Sure. Oh yeah. We also we played a little bit of Fire Red together, Ben, didn't we? We did.
We're
definitely
gonna go
very well in that Nuzlocke.
Yeah. We're not gonna talk about that, but we're also gonna try again. So
yeah, well, that video will be up eventually of our first failed Nuzlocke attempt.
Yep. Definitely.
We got a backlog of videos that still have to come out.
Yeah. Once again, but like I said, the reason why I was playing this game was mostly just because I was playing with my new IPS screen on my Game Boy Advance that I got direct from Japan. And it's gorgeous. I mean, one of these days I'll bring it over and I'll show it to you guys. I don't have the box. The box is in the loft. The loft is now under construction. Air quotes, under construction. But yeah, it's just fun. It's just if you played Pokemon before, this is the OG version. Just looks better, has more Pokemon, or you can put Pokemon from Ruby and Sapphire in it. It's pretty. That's really all it is.
This just in: classic Pokemon still good.
That's true.
Yeah.
In other news,
very true.
Water wet.
Speaking of classics,
oh god, yeah. I am nostalgia's bitch because guys, obviously, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door recently came out for the Nintendo Switch. This gorgeous remake that everyone has been saying is amazing, and I definitely want to play. But also, I have access to Paper Mario on the Nintendo Switch Online service, and I'm finally giving this game another shot. I remember renting this game from Blockbuster as a kid.
Me too.
And just not really, I would say, getting it, because I rented a Mario game and I thought, oh, I'm like playing Mario game. You know, World 1-1, you're going through all the different levels. It's not a big story heavy game. It's definitely never really played RPGs like that before. And then I started playing Paper Mario. I was like, actually really nice. And I gotta say, this is I mean, we'll talk about it later because another game got announced at a certain event that happened this week.
Oh.
But, yo, Paper Mario is really fun.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Paper Mario, it's really nice. I really like this game. It's really fun to play.
Yeah, Paper Mario is my favorite Mario franchise.
I really like the Paper Mario games. I loved, I think it was the Wii one where you would flip the screen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Super Paper. Oh man,
That's not an RPG though.
That is a statement because that game I have seen people get into fights over Super Paper Mario.
So that is a more traditional Mario game. These are straight up JRPGs.
No, I know. I played these ones. I'm just saying, like,
you prefer the non-RPGs.
No. That's not what I mean.
Okay.
I still really enjoy these ones.
Yeah.
There was something about the mechanics of that one that just, like, it tickled my brain in a fun way.
Gotcha.
And obviously, like, I played it when it came out. I haven't revisited that one.
Yeah.
But that one just holds a special place in my heart. It was the last Paper Mario I played. But I did play before that and still enjoyed that game.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a minute.
Yeah, I don't like the new Paper Mario games that aren't this style, personally. I think they're fine, but like once you gave me this, we reverted real hardcore. The mechanics are cool, I do agree, but they strip so much of what made these games great. And Paper Mario is incredible, and then I think, personally, The Thousand Year Door, the sequel, is the best Mario game ever made, which just got remade, as Ben said.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're here, Ben. I think these games are incredible. They're incredibly funny. There's so much witty, funny dialogue. Like, I love Mario RPGs.
Right.
Thus far, Bombette is my favorite companion. Cooper, Koopa Trooper, he's really cool. Goombario, who has I love his ability called Tattle, which is how you can you can see the HP of your enemies. I just love how funny this game. The writing is great, and that's one of the things about why people love the original Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door is how well the writing is in both the games.
Sure.
Yeah.
And even I remember that direct when Thousand Year Door was announced as a remaster for the Switch, everyone was losing their minds. And I'm like, even though I know I don't need to play the original Paper Mario to enjoy Thousand Year Door, I wanted to play the original because I have access to it, so might as well get my money's worth because I'm paying the money for the N64 expansion pack.
Oh yeah.
But also I wanted to play it because if I like this style of gameplay, I know I'm going to enjoy the style of gameplay for Thousand Year Door. Because one of the things that kind of scares me when I play games that majority of other gamers say is like one of the best games of all time, it is like, they put these in high accolades. I get scared that I'm not going to enjoy it as much as all these other guys who grew up with it. So essentially, Paper Mario for the N64 is like a little bit of a litmus test for me before I dive into Thousand Year Door. But so far, I'm really enjoying it, and I need to sit down and play more of it. So once I beat it, I can, purchase Thousand Year Door and go into like the beautiful HD and just enjoy and have a great time. Because so far, like the memes and some of the cutscenes of Thousand Year Door I have seen are just gorgeous, they're witty, they're funny, and I really want to play that game.
For sure.
Hell yeah. Well, it's out. We got more Paper Mario, not Paper Mario, but more RPG Mario coming along the way. But that'll be for later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ben, this is the final game we're going to talk about. It's the big RPG of the first half of the year. Let's talk about being born again. And we won't make this long, but this will be our FF7 discussion. Because I don't know when we'll have time to actually talk about this long-ass game. Plus, I forgot half of it because it's 70 hours long. Ben, give me your overall impressions of how you feel beating FF7 Rebirth. Rebirth? Remake?
Rebirth, yeah.
Recoded?
This is Rebirth.
Chain of memories?
Honestly, I absolutely loved it. Everything that they added into Rebirth from Remake, like being able to switch party members on the fly, adding more party members, and doing all these special attacks, the summons, and everything. Game obviously looks prettier because it's on PS5 compared to PS4.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how they did what they did with Remake, where they add more to the story. They flesh out more characters, and there's also really great character moments.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, absolutely gorgeous because
it's a hell, Ben. It's a hell of a game. There's so much. It's impressive how big it is, how good it looks, how well it plays, and how honestly how much I really liked FF7 Remake, but I didn't finish it. That's on me because like it felt very samey for the entire game. Like, you know, we're in that city the entire game. This place, you're going all around the world. There's so much to explore. There's so much to find. You can put as much into the game as you want to, and you'll get rewarded no matter what. I didn't 100% this game because it would have took me twice as long, and I got other games.
I didn't 100% it either. There was I told myself before the last chapter happened, I was gonna like go and do this one quest, the Gilgamesh quest, like the final Gilgamesh quest, and like the recommended level for that is like level 65 because the level cap is 70, and I was level 40.
Yeah, I was in my
trying to attempt it.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
And I'm like, no. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna grind this sucker out, I'm gonna have to. I'll just like do it at the end of the game. But then I finished the penultimate chapter, and then it goes immediately into the last chapter of the game. So I'm like, oh, never mind. I guess I'll be in the game now. I did as many of almost all the side quests as I could. Side quests didn't feel like a chore because when I play RPGs, especially ones like Final Fantasy or RPGs like this, I like doing the side quests because I'm one of those guys that I do the side quests before I tackle the main bit.
Same.
Because when I fight the main boss, I want to be overpowered as shit.
So true.
Yeah. Look, I cannot praise this game. As of right now, FF7 Rebirth is my game of the year. As of right now, there's a lot more games coming out this year that might change.
We just got an Elden Ring DLC, my man.
Yeah, we just got an Elden Ring deal. I haven't gotten that yet, but it just dropped, and that's gonna be like, ooh, yay! It's like that the Final Fantasy XIV director who's like Elden Ring DLC.
That's still one of my favorite videos ever. Him just walking across the stage. Elden Ring DLC.
He's like, look, I want to release Final Fantasy XIV this week, but I know Elden Ring is coming out, so I'm gonna give you 1 week to play that, and then I'm releasing FF15 or 14.
He wants to play it too, brother. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, game, pun intended, game recognizes game. But with Final Fantasy VII, this is definitely, while there are some aspects that you do have to sit down and just go, because look, Final Fantasy VII, the original story is it's out there. It's a little convoluted, but you know, we have like long form YouTube essays who have divulged and studied the story forwards and backwards. But at the same time, I love how they change it, how it's still not a cookie cutter copy from the original story, and how the game keeps subverting. Thank you, Sparkz. Subverting your expectations, and even with the actual ending of how you still don't know what is true, what is real, and normally spoiler alert for a little bit of the ending of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just warning you all right now.
It's old now. You're good.
It's Cloud is essentially being gaslit by himself.
Yeah,
and I like everyone else is like hurting over the events of the end of the game with a certain character, her. And yet Cloud is still like seeing her. It's like, is it a ghost? Is this another timeline? Is this like because everyone was wondering, is like, what is going to happen when Sephiroth falls down in the City of the Ancients? And the game just decides, why not both? Why not? It's like, ¿por qué no las dos?
Yeah.
But then it's like, but this is the real one. But Cloud thinks something else is going on, and I am really looking forward to what's happening next in the next title. Also, I just love how in other RPGs, like with Final Fantasy VII, the original one, the choices and the dialogue things that you make do impact your things that happen in the game, i.e., which character you could romance. Look, I love Aerith. Aerith is like one of my best friends, but I'm a Cloud Tifa stan for life. I ship those two.
We're the same page.
Hardcore.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I love them together. But also, even when you like to get to romance the other characters, they have a really good heart to heart with Cloud, and it's not untasteful, and just everything clicks and works, and it's just such a good time. If you love the original Final Fantasy VII, this game is worth your time.
Absolutely.
I put I put so much hours into this game,
Yeah.
but it is worth your time. It is definitely, when it's like, if you want something, if you want to relive one of your favorite video games anew and have it be different, have it be more stakes, and have like the gravitas, because there were like some amazing fights run like, this is amazing. And
the what's his name? What the hell? Big Beast Man Valentine. What the hell's his name?
Vincent Valentine.
Vincent Valentine is the coolest video game character I might have ever seen in my life, because I like FF7 the original, but like I don't have super nostalgia for it, and I never played Dirge of Cerberus, so like he's like a cool character, but like him in this game is the coolest I've ever seen a guy look in my life. And he's voiced by Matt Mercer, and I'm like, how do you get cooler than this man? He's a big wolf man.
I have a.
Did you see the video?
Oh no! Finish your thought, Ben, because I'm about to change.
No, I was going to ask Ryan if Ryan saw the video of when Square told Matt that he was going to be voicing Vincent Valentine.
Yeah, he was in a sound booth, and they said, "All right, he doesn't know who he's going to play," and then it popped on screen, one of the most famous video game characters of all time, and he lost his shit. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's so
good. For both of you,
what's up?
Because this is jumping off of what Ben just said a moment ago, like if you're a huge fan of the original, that kind of thing. Now that we're the second game deep into this redoing story, do you feel like the story and the game has inherent value now that works if you're new to it?
Yes.
And going off of that, how much divergence is there from the original in the second title comparatively to the first one?
It's not we aren't quite Rebuild of Evangelion quite yet.
Okay.
There is definitely divergent points happening, but it isn't a completely brand new experience quite yet. Yeah. Would you agree with that, Ben? It's kind of just like, no, it's 100%. Kind of the same thing, just a little different.
Using your analogy real quick, like when we were doing the Evangelion rebuilds, you know, like the first one is very much in line with the original series, and the second one I think drifts more in its last
It's in
chunk.
That one. It's in that.
So it's about in that range, but we're not at 3 where like this is fundamentally different.
We aren't at like these characters are different and this character's alive 15 years. We aren't quite there yet.
Got it.
But it's doing cool. It's doing cool shit.
I would definitely say knowledge of the original would definitely help you, especially with the stuff with Zack Fair.
Yes.
This is kind of my curiosity is like, if you can, do you feel like you can say now, are you missing something if you're not familiar with the original? That is detrimental to your experience.
Yeah. I will say, Ben, because I know you have more experience with FF7 than I do. I will say I didn't feel... I felt it for the first game. I think the first game doesn't give you enough personally.
This is why I brought it up, because I remember you saying this around the first game, and so I was like, does this carry over? Are we still in this zone where, like, if you're kind of partially missing the party if you haven't done it?
I think this game is so spectacular because, not just because it's really long, there's so much character development and character growth and character intermixing that there was in the first game, but like this is one where I feel like they're actually diving into who these characters are. Like I know more about Tifa than I did in the first game. I know more about Aerith than the first game. I definitely know more about Zack, who wasn't even there. Right. So like... for Zack specifically, there's a character who is in this game who isn't kind of a major thing in the other games. So like, I think for Zack specifically, it helps. I didn't feel personally super connected to Zack throughout the game until the end, until the big final event happens. But I think you will still have a good time without having knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. It gives you enough. Yeah.
I would definitely say it gives you enough.
Mm-hmm.
You also like one of the things I also want to talk about or highlight is that the character development for not just Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa, but everyone, including Kate Sith. Red 13 and Barrett were actually some of my favorite character moments.
Oh, Barrett!
Because that scene where you're in the Temple of the Ancients and Barrett is reliving the day he lost his wife was just my heart.
Yeah.
And then you go to Red 13, the day he was captured by Shinra. And also, I love the complete tone shift when you go to Cosmo Canyon, and it's like Red 13 is like this stoic, this deep thinker. And then it's like, I mean, you get hints of it throughout the game, like over in Costa del Sol. But the second you go to Cosmo Canyon and his real voice comes up, and he's just like a little kid.
Ben, I love it. I gotta be honest. I think that's my one thing I don't like about the game. I don't like the voice change. It's not that I don't like the voice change. It doesn't even sound even close to what he sounded like. They're two completely different voices. It's hard for me to like. It's this young kid pretending to be like an old gruff soldier guy, but he's also a dog. But like his voice did not work for me. And like, you're telling me this is supposed to be a little kid instead of the gruff dinosaur man we've been talking to. I bet it worked better in the original game without voice acting. But for me, his young anime-esque voice didn't do it for me. But that's just a personal thing. I think the emotions, I think the character stuff and the emotional stuff is good, but the character's voice, once he's like, "Hey, it's me. I'm not this guy. I'm this guy," and I'm like, "Okay."
I have one more question for you guys related to this.
Thank you for asking those questions.
Which is, where do you want this to go from here? You know, like so I'll, like, contextually, like, are you wanting a different ending from the original? Are you wanting some new kind of resolution? Something that even, do you want this to not even stop where the original went, but like tangent into something brand new?
Yeah.
Do you want this to go all the way up to Advent Children and cover it in a game, which a lot of people have been wondering because Ever Crisis has put everything contextually Final Fantasy VII into one
That's a great question.
Story motion and is making people think they're going to go all the way up through Advent Children with this?
My initial thought is that the third game will be the end of Evangelion, or rebuild of Evangelion, where things are going to be different, because while this second game does end in a similar way to the middle of the original game, it is still a complete divergent point where spoilers for Final Fantasy VII. I don't want to dance around it. Ben, we're just going to talk about it. Aerith dies in the original game. She also dies in this game. But she also doesn't die in this game. It's a weird timeline, dimensional thing happening where Cloud can see Aerith, but everybody else cannot. So already by that, we are living in a new world with Aerith and without Aerith. So, like, I think we are going to get a significant divergence while still dealing with the Black Materia end of the world stuff from the original game. Does that sound right to you, Ben?
That does. And actually, that's kind of like where I want this to go. Whereas, I mean, I don't need like a big Avengers Endgame-esque multiversal battle with, because the whole point of Sephiroth, he's just trying to merge everything together.
He's doing the one. He's doing Jet Li's the one.
Sure.
Yeah. But I also want to see, what I want to see with the third one, whenever that does come out, is I like the callbacks to the original, but I wanted them to keep going more, if obviously like different takes, as in like maybe there, whoever like you talk to or like romance or whatever, that person is the one who goes into the live stream to save Cloud after he falls.
Yeah.
Or like it's a different character who goes into and saves Cloud, or it's a different or just there's just so much to play with the second half of 7 that it's just so grand that I don't even know what exactly I want. I obviously don't want them to do a shot-for-shot remake of the original game, because they've already diverted too far into this one.
Yeah.
And for them to revert back into that would feel would be a detriment to the next title.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know what I want.
They've also done a lot of setup for stuff that what the hell is that guy's name? He's the blonde guy with the beard in the cloak. He keeps showing up in Shinra, he keeps teleporting in and out. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh! I know who you're talking about.
He looks like an evil old Cloud or something. But that's like, there are still characters and concepts that they are weaving in the first 2 games that we still have no finale on. So like, I think all that weird stuff is going to transform the third game into a bigger, different game than what we think it's going to be. And honestly, for this game specifically, it felt like the director, and I forget his name, but like he wanted to, hey, Barrett's big emotional scene, Red 13's big emotional scene, I want to put that in beautiful high definition and really feel that emotion. I don't want to change what is so good. So it felt like for like the first half of the original game, he was like, all right, I want to remake that as beautiful as I can with small changes, and then once I get the stuff that I really want to get out of the way, we can start getting crazy. We can start doing Rebuild of Evangelion, because like he clearly loves these characters, and like a lot of this game is the same game, just really expanded out. Like one town will take you 20 hours as opposed to 4 hours in the original game, right? So like it's hard to say where that third game will go. I want it to be bigger and weirder.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll say go ahead, Ben, please.
No, I would definitely say the third game. I mean, obviously, I want the third game to be big. Like, obviously, Rebirth is already a huge-ass game. Like, this is our first PS5 game that came out on where it had, like, 2 discs, whereas, like, the first one was the download disc, and then the second one was the actual game, because there's so much to this game.
Ooh, Ben, I have a quick question. I have a quick question about size of the game. Because the second half of FF7, the original, you're still going around the same map. I think we're going to get this game sooner rather than later because we're going to be using the same giant open world map, but make it change, kind of like God of War Ragnarok did.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get the game. We're going to get the game sooner than like 7 years, is what I'm saying. Thank God.
Maybe.
That's what I'm feeling.
Either way, I'm excited. I mean, I'm glad that we got time until that one because backlog. But when Final Fantasy VII Final Fantasy VII Remake 3 comes out, I'm gonna be like there day one. Ben,
clearly it's gonna be called a reunion, right? Clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
That's what those mother effers have been screaming. Reunion the whole time. Yeah. The whole time.
No, well, also, so fun fact: in Final Fantasy VII Remake, when you fight Sephiroth, the official song is "One Winged Angel Rebirth," and then of course Final Fantasy VII is like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, and I haven't been able to download the soundtrack for this game yet, which by the way, the soundtrack in this game is amazing. Oh my god, it's so good.
The best song is the song that when you rescue the dog, the song goes bow wow wow wow. It's bow wow wow wow. That's the best song in the game.
That's also a good song, but also like when you're in the grasslands for the first time and you hear the classic da, na, na, na. That bit is just like
Did you do all the piano games?
Not all the piano games, but I tried a lot of the piano games. My favorite one was actually Tifa's theme. Tifa and Aerith are my favorite piano songs in FF7 Rebirth.
I agree.
But anyways, back to my original point. I'm 99% sure the final Sephiroth fight where you hear One Winged Angel while you're fighting him with Aerith is called One Winged Angel Reunion.
Oh!
I'm 90% sure. I could be wrong. But if I'm right, then yes, the next game will be called Reunion.
Makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
What's up?
I will say, like, from an outside perspective and my engagement with Ever Crisis and what they've been doing over there to an extent, I have a hard time envisioning a world where they let this go at the end of the Final Fantasy VII. I suppose it's possible if they craft an ending.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're going to leave it open and eventually either cover Advent Children in their own way or cover new story ground. I don't think they're going to let this go. At this next one, even when they finish covering the original Final Fantasy VII. That's kind of my instinct. And I guess I'll simplify down my question from before and just say, like, do you want it to have an ending or do you want them to go beyond Final Fantasy VII's original game, or whatever ending they would craft at that point? Do you want them to craft story further beyond it, or do you want them to put a button on it, call it done?
For me, I'll say I don't mind if they end it with FF7 Reunion, because by that point I would have put 200 hours into this one video game technically. So like, and I have Advent Children. Like I personally don't need them to like revisit it in the video game. Because at the end of the day, like I like Final Fantasy, but like how many Final Fantasy VIIs do we need? Like it's like this is like the Batman of their universe. Like they're gonna keep hitting the well of Final Fantasy VII until it runs dry because it's their big cash cow. Yes. And like I don't need to see this world forever. You know, like I'd rather them revisit. Like the rumor, Ben, is that they're doing a big remake of 9 right now. Could you imagine an HD actual big? That's what I want. I think if you finish 7 in a big, you know, the third one is a big final endgame battle, I would be happy with that. We've had Final Fantasy VII for 25 years in movies, games, like comics. He's in Kingdom Hearts. He's in
Sure.
So like I could let this one end for me, I think.
I agree. I want it to end. Okay. Not because I don't like FF7, but I do agree that FF7 is the most popular one. It is the one that Square keeps going back to. They do milk it, but they milk it because people love the franchise or love the game. They love the characters and there's story to be told. But I do agree that the next one should be the end of this game. Not to say that you can't do supplementary stuff, you can't do other things afterwards, because they will, they will go, if Square Enix needs to do something, they'll go back to the FF7 well, they'll go back to Midgar.
There's almost no way I don't see them doing at least spin-offs inside of this version. Even past this next game.
But I would definitely say that with the next game, it should, and I think it might hurt the game or the experience in general if it wasn't the true actual end of the story. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I feel you. Well, that was a lovely chat about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy never ends, so I'm sure we'll talk about it, one day in the future.
It's a never-ending story.
It's a never-ending cycle. All right, guys.
I want more. I want new Final Fantasy. I want more new Final Fantasy stuff as well, because Final Fantasy is it's a big franchise, and I love 16. I had a great time with 16. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with 17, or if they do remake 9, or another thing that people have been begging for is a HD remaster of Tactics. So there are other Final Fantasy games that Square can go back to and either redo, remake, remaster, or whatever. And it doesn't always have to be FF7.
For sure. This again is purely driven from this massive push that they've made with Ever Crisis to kind of unify everything Final Fantasy VII into this umbrella of continuity and make it feel like it's all linked. That by dragging all these lines and dots, it's hard for me to envision that they let this version not string out into those other supplemental materials in its own way. Advent Children especially, because Advent Children as a interconnected point is a big point of Ever Crisis.
Ben, you brought up Final Fantasy Tactics. Why did you bring that up again?
Because people have been wanting a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster forever.
Have you?
And also they just
have they?
Wait, what? Yeah, a lot of people on my Twitter feed.
Ben, the long-standing rumors about Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster has taken a significant turn after Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier revealed that the game is real and in active development as we speak.
Well, shit, never mind then.
Honestly, the rumor was that the trailer was going to be at Summer Game Fest. So probably early next year if I had to take a guess.
Okay, because a lot of people on my Twitter timeline have been saying happy 27 years to Final Fantasy Tactics, and I'm just like, yay, and then I go, oh my god, 27 years.
Yeah, that one starts. Yeah. I love it. But we are out of the old, and we're going to move into the new, because...
And we got a lot of stuff to go through.
Well, yeah, 30-something trailers, yeah. But
we could have been so much worse.
Yeah, listen.
I did that. Ryan left open the door for indies, and I'm like, I'm not doing this.
That's the thing. Listen, there were literally potentially over 100, 200 games announced over the last few weeks. A lot of them are really cool. A lot of them are small indies. We just don't have time to talk about all the games.
No.
So instead of talking,
got D&D to record today too. So
don't worry. Oh, we'll be done before then. Don't you worry. So I picked what I thought was, including some of your guys' picks, what I think are some of the most exciting, mostly bigger games announced over the last few weeks.
What I will say is there's a handful of indie games that we covered last year that now have more full-fledged gameplay trailers that we covered from last Summer Games Fest, I believe, or maybe a little later in the year. Ones like Neva and things like that. They all look great. I'm very excited. Everything that we said we were excited about before, I've seen new stuff for them, and I'm still excited about them.
And I watched literally every single video game press conference that came out the last couple of weeks. So let me tell you, there are too many games that I'd like to play, so we just can't talk about all of them. But we are going to talk about some cool ones. And we're going to start today with a Prison Break with aliens.
I'm ready to get my cuff busted.
This game is called Cuff Bust, a multiplayer prison escape game.
This one looks great. Like, I love how cute it is. I love how it's a cooperative game where you bust out of a jail. And now my question is it a first person game or is it a VR game? Because there were times where it looks like it was a VR game.
It's a first person game.
Okay, cool. Sweet. I don't have to worry about.
No, we're definitely gonna play this. I'm excited to do it. It looks like a ton of fun. I can't wait to beat up the police.
They're called Jailians. I think that's great.
I just also love how they're so cute, and also the way they talk is just. It's like minion speak, but not as annoying as minion speak. No offense to the people who love the minions. I know they're adorable and they're funny, but this just is. It's less. This to me is less obnoxious than that. That's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, this looks super great. I want to say this is Ben. This is the developer of Choo Choo Charles.
Yes. Yeah.
So we probably won't see any spooky trains in this game, but we will see some prison escapes.
Unless there's DLC.
Unless there's DLC.
Escape the train.
Escape on a train. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Cuff Bust Together.
Cuff Buzz looks great, but this one I'm actually really, really excited for.
What?
I'm
a Sonic game? You?
Yeah, I know. Sonic game. Ben's excited for a Sonic game. Oh my! Because this is obviously it's generations on newer consoles. Even though the game came out for the PS3 and
Xbox 3.
Yeah, PS3, Xbox 360.
You can
still
play.
So.
You can still play it on newer Xboxes too.
Mm-hmm. And but they're adding levels with Shadow. So it's not just like, oh, we're just going to slap some more stuff on. There's like, no, Shadow has his own story in this game. And it's like, if you want to play the original Sonic generations, you most certainly can. Because like they just showed one of my favorite levels of Sonic Racing Metal Sonic. Because, that's my favorite. He's my favorite villain.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're adding the Shadow stuff and it's not just like a few things here and there, it's an entirely new experience. I'm all for. Like, this is something that I'm like, Sega, you're doing this right. And also, it's going to help build the hype for Sonic the Hedgehog 3 because we all know Shadow's in that one.
I'm not going to lie, guys. This looks really fun.
It does. It looks really good. I know Brandon really wants to do it. I really want him to at least do Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2 before he plays this. But it's really cool. I do feel like there's an effort here, an active effort to reclaim the Shadow the Hedgehog game in a way, and
is he gonna have guns in this game?
Well, you're definitely covering the content from it because it's pretty directly influential from the things we're seeing in the trailer. Is the Shadow the Hedgehog game?
I want guns or no buy.
So because you see his little eye starfish enemy man showing
Doom.
up. Thank you. Yeah,
it's the Black Doom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I owned the Shadow the Hedgehog game. I tried playing it, could only get not even halfway through the game before I stopped because yikes. And the guns weren't the problem. It was just like the actual gameplay itself was the problem.
Yeah. Oh man, at least it was better than 06 Sonic. Come on.
Yeah. At least there was that. There wasn't. Yeah, it was that. There was that, but also, that game, that Shadow the Hedgehog itself was just like, and that was
what annoyed me,
the trunk of my car for the longest time.
What honestly annoyed me about Shadow the Hedgehog is I imagine I played more than Ben because I played through 3 paths.
You played all 3 of them?
No, Ben, there were 10. There's 10 paths because they diverge in multiple ways. And I played
Why is he turning into Venom at the end there?
Yeah, that's the Black Doom. That's the Black Doom.
That's the Black Doom, okay.
Yeah.
It's a symbiote?
That's the Black Doom affecting him.
Got it.
That's what I mean, is like there's a lot of this Shadow the Hedgehog game stuff influencing it. Shadow the Hedgehog came out at a time where they were like, making alternate paths in video games is cool. And so you had to play like 10 versions to get the true story.
Yeah, I get
like
it.
the true ending.
That's
because
Star
you were allowed to play as like betraying Sonic or befriending Sonic and all these kinds of things, but it's like, but all these are what ifs, and to get the true story you're gonna have to XYZ, and I never could get through it. So that really sucked.
Him falling through the Doctor Strange world looked pretty cool there.
Also, I'm pretty sure related to Black Doom and Shadow the Hedgehog, so it'll be really interesting to see how they're gonna try and tackle all that material, because they're clearly like bringing a lot of it, because honestly, like, that's where the bulk of, outside of Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow's story is in the Shadow the Hedgehog game. Other than that, he's just kind of like around in the games. So I really am intrigued by how they're going to try and repurpose Shadow. And I do think that this is also them playing around again with the audience of wanting to, yes, promote Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie, but also broach an eventual Sonic Adventure 3. There's just no world where I don't feel like we're eventually getting there. They're going to want to do it, even if it's not necessarily going to be the same kind of game, or like even a game Sonic fans will like. They're going to do Sonic Adventure 3. It's just going to happen.
Word.
I mean, but also, I mean, to give Sega some credit, because outside of Mania, Generations was the highest rated Sonic game. And
100%.
Yeah, it was like Generations and Mania, the 1-2 punch of those games have been like, hey, Sonic's on the right track. We're breaking the Sonic cycle.
Yeah. And
I mean, I'm not saying Forces was bad. I tried playing a little bit of Forces. It's not really my cup of tea, but I love that we're getting Shadow content, and it's not like a little thrown together DLC. It's like, no, we're doing full game, but you can also get the original Generations game for a newer hardware, and I'm all for this. And this is definitely going to be something I'm going to be looking forward to get, because I love Generations, and I'm a Shadow the Hedgehog fan, so I'm looking forward to this.
What I'm really curious about is because the gambit in Generations is that you're going through all of Sonic's history with both modern and classic Sonic integrating into those games. So like if you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog 1 or 2 level stuff, you can play it with classic Sonic, and that's very familiar, or you can play those same levels with modern Sonic. Then you get into the modern games, you have classic Sonic versions of those stages. That was kind of part of the gimmick and the fun of revisiting the history. I'm very curious if Shadow's story starts when he shows up in Sonic Adventure 2, or if we're going back further than that.
I hope it starts at Adventure 2, because just getting into, like that Speedway level, and when Shadow's like the first level you get to play as Shadow was really fun. Yeah. In Sonic Adventure 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll do it. I'm just like, are we gonna get a level of Shadow back on the Ark? With Maria, like, is that what we're gonna do?
Who knows?
Yeah, before she gets shot.
Before she gets shot.
That's the Sonic lore
by
that I know.
Gun.
G.U.N.
All
right,
God, the memes.
Well, we're gonna move on from Sonic and Guns to Sand and Atreides.
Yeah.
Welcome, my Dune heads. This isn't a great trailer to represent what the game is, but it is the only trailer that wasn't 25 minutes long showing what gameplay was. Sure. So I put this trailer in. I'm excited for this game. One, because I love a good survival, open world, survival type game where you have to like hit some trees and hit some rocks to build some shit, right? The cool thing about this game is that it is a giant, massive MMO open world RPG, but it is a alternate timeline. Where this is the divergent timelines. Did you guys watch this trailer by any chance?
Yes.
Did you? Okay, so
I did.
Okay, so it is a divergent timeline that Paul Atreides sees when he is the Kwisatz Haderach of what would happen if he wasn't born. And the Bene Gesserit prophecy was able to be fulfilled. And a woman was born, and the Atreides never was destroyed, and the world was a little different.
Creating a whole what if.
Basically a giant what if. So the Fremen have never been discovered. If you watch Dune, the Fremen are the people who live in the sand, Lisan al-Gaib, that guy. And I just think the idea is really cool that the Atreides family and all their legions are coming to Arrakis as heroes. The Harkonnens aren't as involved. They will be involved, but you are the guy, and whoever you play, your created character, you are basically the new Messiah. Because Paul wasn't there for them. And it's a mix of survival game, a mix of MMO, and a mix of storycraft that I don't really see in this scale of game. And I know you guys haven't seen any gameplay of it, but it's a really cool giant you're in the sands of Arrakis, but there are hidden oases and stuff, and you build giant bases, and to traverse across the south where it's inescapable and you can't get to it, you got to ride sandworms and shit. And every week that part of the map, it gets destroyed. So anything that you build or anything that you scavenge, you have to take off the southern part of the map because it'll get destroyed because of the giant sandstorms. Right. So there's a lot of really cool factors and systems at work that I appreciate in these type of games. That is not Dragon Ball Z. That I am very excited for. This probably isn't something for y'all, but Steve Martin.
It's just Yeah, it's the ad.
No, I know. Yeah.
It's the ad
So
that does.
Steve Martin.
This one was for me. I'm excited for.
No,
Dune
I
Awakening.
think what I really like about this is that it's crafting it a very, I think, smart format for it to be able to do storytelling where you're not going through the books. You really feel like you can explore something you're not going to get in any other way.
And craft your own narrative.
Yeah, and that it's definitely like got things that are hearkening to some of the movie aesthetics, but it's not beholden to them. Like, it's not trying to recreate them.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that too. So I think it's more appealing to me now because we did read the book, and with the movies out, like I'm a little bit Dune headed. So I don't know when I'll ever get to it, but it does look cool. I really like the idea of it.
One day, who knows? Maybe the 3-4 of us will be crash landing on Arrakis, and we got to survive one day. Who knows?
Yeah, I will definitely say I like the concept. I love the concept of like the what if stuff and how like all the stuff that we know from the books and the movie is different, and like you get to forge your own path on Arrakis. I don't know if it will be for me personally. I mean, I haven't seen any gameplay. The only trailer I watched is this beautiful cinematic, but the idea intrigues me, so I will definitely say that.
Ben, so you don't play survival games, but you've played Lego Fortnite. That's a survival game where you got to eat to survive. You cut down trees to build houses. Imagine doing all that, but with Lego.
Do you, Ryan, think that the narrative of it will be crafted well enough that it will be kind of an exercise in feudalism? That despite even your best attempts to be like the good version of Paul, you just can't.
See, that's
like that it'll push against you so much that you're forbidden from being able to be that?
See, that's an excellent question because the fact that this is a giant MMO means it isn't like a Last of Us where it's like story dependent, but this has more story than your average MMO. So like I haven't seen damn it, Dragon Ball. I haven't seen enough from the game to know whether there is that much choice and that much story to be had.
Right.
Instead of just, hey, here's an opening cutscene and like you'll talk to some NPCs.
Right.
So like until I see more of the game.
This is kind of a key thing I think would make it like just an incredible game because like what is great about Dune is that Paul is bad.
Yes.
But Paul believes he's good and at times even makes choices for what he believes is the greater good. And it would be really cool if like you have directly things you can do in front of you that are like, this is the good thing and this is the bad thing. And regardless of which one you choose, you still kind of end up in the same spot because that's what being in that position does to you.
Yeah.
That's what being the person with all of what Paul has going on does to you, is it makes it so that doesn't matter, this is what you are.
Yeah.
And I do think like that's an exercise in feudalism.
That sounds
and
awesome.
I think that would be really cool if they're like, yeah, you thought that was the good choice. Well, here's how that worked out. That means like you're still in this spot, my guy.
Yeah.
You didn't move the meter at all.
I'm going to be fascinated to learn more about like the like minute to minute what you're doing, because like you're building stuff, but like why are you building it? Like are you helping the Fremen? Are you talking to people in the sky? Like I don't know the bigger scale of the game outside of I'm a Minecrafter.
Right.
So like I can't wait to learn more.
I would really love it if it's so well designed and built. This would be, I'm not putting that on the game. It might not, but like it would be really cool if it is something where they give you these opportunities to I'm going to liberate the Fremen, but in the morally correct way. And it's like, but when push comes to shove, you can't do that.
If I had to... Go ahead, Ben.
Quick little joke. It's like that guy it's like that Key and Peele sketch where he's like, you done messed up, I tried this.
Oh yeah, I tried ice. If I had to take a guess, I'm going to say it's going to not be that, simply because the people developing this game, they made Conan Exiles, which is another open world survival game. And there is story, but it's very much talk to this guy, get your quest. So like, I hope to see more an evolution of that. And if it's not that, that's fine. I just love the aesthetics of Dune.
I think that's just the most interesting thing you can do with the concept of like, we're doing a what if of Dune. You get to be a different version. You're not Paul. You kind of can forge your own path.
Yeah.
But guess what? You still end up
like
Paul.
It all leads down
like,
the same
no matter
path.
what you do, you end up like Paul.
Yeah.
Like
you can't stop the Quisat Cetera.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for talking about Dune with me, Dune heads. Let's move on to some
loop this one.
Some balls.
Yeah, we went from to
T'Challa, Headshala.
I really I kind of forgot how many just how many like new characters there kind of are that you can put in this kind of fighting game that have never been in one of these before.
Yeah, so
a lot has happened since the last Tenkaichi,
which was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So this is Dragon Ball Z. Dragon. What is the title of it? Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. I'll be honest. When this game was first announced, I was like excited for it. I'm like, cool. I like this franchise. Of all the anime, open brawler type games, I think the Dragon Ball ones are usually the better ones.
Yes.
Also, I just like Dragon Ball more than other animes, so maybe that's biased.
Yeah.
But the more I see of this game, the more I'm like, this isn't just a cash grab. Like, no, we're making a huge, we're making the Smash Brothers Ultimate of Dragon Ball Z games.
Right.
Because it includes every saga from Dragon Ball Z and Super. It not only has that, but it has what-if scenarios, as you're seeing in this trailer. Like, hey, instead of Goku and Piccolo fighting Raditz, what if just Goku fought Raditz and he died? What would the story be in Dragon Ball? And the old Dragon Ball Z Budokai games had a lot of really weird shit like that. They had what-if stuff. They had weird fusion combinations.
Oh my god, I loved
that. It was
stuff.
Krillin and Piccolo fused, so it was a little green Krillin guy.
Yeah.
The old Dragon Ball games had, they experimented, and they had board games and stuff.
What if Cell absorbed Yamcha? Kind of shit.
Oh yeah, what if characters fused?
What if Cell absorbed Krillin?
Yeah.
That was a thing in the Budokai
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah,
exactly. So this game doesn't feel like a cash grab. It feels like we're gonna put our whole ass into it, and it visually looks incredible.
Yeah,
and there's so destructible environments out the wazoo. They've dealt with that on a smaller scale, but now everything looks destructible.
Right.
And again, they've done this in other games, but it's a bigger scale here. If you use one of your ultimate moves, you'll destroy part of the planet. And I just always love that. The Dragon Ball Z games, in terms of scale, always feel the biggest in terms of we're destroying planets when we fight. Yeah. And I love it. I love it.
I am a big fan of Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2. And they are kind of our they have been for a while our most modern Dragon Ball open brawlers.
Xenoverse 2, 7 years of DLC.
Yeah, and they've added a lot of incredible content, and I really enjoy them. But I would be remiss to say that their version of the gameplay in the open brawl has never been as strong as the Tenkaichi series.
Yep.
And they've just never had it down as good as they did, and so returning to this gameplay formula with so much content now on the table is really exciting. If I had a knock against this, my one knock is that so far it seems there's no original Dragon Ball in this.
Yes.
And the only reason I say that is because I'm just a little bit tired of every modern Dragon Ball game that comes out starting at Z and going through things, and then down the road they'll be like, oh, by the way, here's some DLC from the original Dragon Ball, and I'm like, just put original Dragon Ball stuff in the game, just put it in.
Do you
have it from the jump?
Do you think, and I know the answer to this, I know it's all the same world.
Yeah.
Do you think because Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are such different shows, despite them being in the same universe, same characters, but they are not the same type of show. They are working on power level scales significantly different. It just they don't want to start so small.
I see where you're going.
I don't care.
No, I know. Here's my immediate response of why this game should have Dragon Ball right from the jump. You fight with Hercule again.
Yeah.
Hercule's back as a fighter that you can use, and honestly, really cool, because what's
he's a
happening
gimmick
is
character.
he has Majin Buu essentially as a stand.
Yeah.
Who he has jump in and do things for him, but it's like he's playing it in a tournament, so Majin Buu tries to make it look like he did it, kind of thing, which is really cute. But the thing is, Hercule's the weakest person in the world. He's a
human, yeah.
He is a fighter in this. Any Dragon Ball character should be a fighter in this. There's no reason to exclude them at that point. Even if you're not going to go back and do a bunch of their story bits necessarily in the game, the fighters should be here. I should be able to play as Kid Goku. I should be able to play as King Piccolo.
I'll tell you what, you are 100% right in that we will get those characters as DLC.
Yes, that's what I
100%.
At some point down the road, they're the little thing that they'll throw in, and I'm like, just do it from the jump. You want to talk about having this incredible roster, just to have the Dragon Ball characters from the beginning. People love the original Dragon Ball characters being there.
I am 100% with you. I think
the moment I saw Hercule, I was like, Dragon Ball should be here.
No, I know, but he's a DBZ character. But I get it. When
in
people
terms
think
of your power thing,
I agree. When people think of Dragon Ball video games, I I think this is what they're looking at.
Sure.
I think the people upstairs are like, I don't know if the regular people care enough about teenage Bulma.
Now,
do you know what I mean?
Now, honestly, sure. Honestly, obviously, this is fairly recent thing that happened, so I don't blame this development team for not knowing while they were making the game that this would pop off. But like, I believe the number response was in like more people were playing the Kakarot game than had played it since it launched because of the inclusion of the final tournament DLC from the end of Dragon Ball, where Goku fought Piccolo. Everybody wanted to play that because it hasn't been in a lot of games. And so I think that really shows that the Dragon Ball audience still loves original Dragon Ball, wants that stuff there. It should just be in this game from the
No, I agree. If you're doing a celebration of everything, like,
just
do it all. Do it
just
all.
do it. Yeah. I'm really excited. There's obviously there's a crap ton of stuff, and the rumors are that, you know, this is going to be the first game where we're going to get super characters that haven't even made the transition to anime yet via the manga. Characters like Moro and Granola are going to be here, supposedly. How that's going to work out, who they're going to get for voice actors, I really don't know. But this is still really exciting.
I got to be honest, y'all. I bought that Kakarot game. I bought it for $19. I bought the Ultimate Super Mega Expensive $100 edition for $19. That game is not good. That game's combat and flying is so bad. After like 30 minutes, I'm like, I cannot push myself to play
I think you got to be committed to the Dragon Ball experience and
it is
want to make the most of things that aren't the fighting.
But it has to feel good to play.
No, I'm with you.
And as someone who's played, I literally think every modern Dragon Ball Z game for the past 20 years, just doing it again but worse, I just can't do it anymore. Which is why I'm excited for this game, because like, how many times can I go through the fucking Saiyan saga? I swear to God.
I also will say, like, I'm very excited about this, but I am kind of sad that like we've never gotten a real expansion on with a lot of the new stuff. We have some, but not a lot of it, or a sequel for Fighters. Because Fighters
it still gets DLC.
It hasn't had it for a while.
I mean, up to a year ago, for a 5-year-old game, it was getting DLC. Plus, that game is still being played at EVO tournaments.
For sure. No, it's a popular game. I'm just more like, there's a lot of characters that are showing up here that I kind of wish we were getting in Fighters. Characters like the two heroes from the latest movie. That they're not a fighters team is a little surprising to me that we haven't been incorporating more of the new stuff into Fighters.
The thing about Fighters is, too, just real quick, like, that was not made by a Dragon Ball studio. That was made
100%.
So like, they will maybe never make another Dragon Ball Z fighting game again.
Very likely. And the thing is, like, I don't think they need to. It's just one of those things where, like, they nailed the side-to-side for Dragon Ball fighting games. Like, it'll never be better than Fighters.
That is the best Dragon Ball fighting game that will ever be made.
Right. And, like, I just wish we were still getting things put into that the way that we're going to get games like this with their insane rosters and all that stuff.
Look at all this pre-order. Look at all this shit I'm going to not pre-order so I don't get it.
Ben, will you ever play this game?
Probably. Maybe. Who knows? I downloaded Fighters when it was for free on PSN, and I haven't really played it a lot.
Thank you for bringing that up, Ryan. That's also a really exciting thing people are jazzed about. They're going to tie into the new anime immediately, which is really exciting.
Love it. All right, moving on. Let's go to a place far, far away, guys. I am beyond. This is the shorter trailer, but they released a full 10-minute gameplay preview for the Ubisoft Direct or whatever it's called. Guys, this game looks so freaking good. I almost can't believe it. It is everything that I wanted. Well, that's not fair for me to say, because Jedi Survivor is a different game, but that game is a fake open world, like an action adventure game. This is what I want that game to be. Plus, there are no lightsabers, which is. My favorite Star Wars stuff is the original trilogy, you know, gangsters, smugglers fighting against an empire type shit. That's my favorite shit. Seeing you be a cool galactic smuggler with a cute little alien guy with a big sexy droid man as your companion. You can go to multiple worlds. They're all open world at any time you want. You can do quests in different order. There's a reputation system, so if you're nice to one guy, it'll make another character mad. This is... In terms of being an open world action adventure game, this is everything I want from a game. This is what I love about video games. And it's Star Wars.
Something we covered
Shit.
Really well, I think, in our pause menu review of Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, which will eventually be up.
It's not up yet?
No. When I can sit down and edit it. That thing we
funny.
recorded a year ago. I edit at a snail's pace now.
Look at the guy in the head. That was great.
One thing that I think we covered in that really well is that, like, that is probably the ultimate, like, mobility gameplay for playing a Jedi.
Yeah.
And outside of that, there's a lot of things that didn't work about that game. And I think you're getting to the crux of it, which is, like, that fake open world stuff. And I have to tell you, when I'm looking at this and this trailer and the wider gameplay trailer and what this game has to offer, this is the most excited I've ever been to go back to Tatooine since episode 3.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Because this is like, yes, I want to actually get in the slums. I want to go explore and be part of this. And it feels like it's just giving you so much more on the table of what you can be. And chasing that smuggler's world, I think, was such a smart decision for this game and the era choice.
And it took, unfortunately, like 15 years to get here because there was multiple Star Wars games that have been canceled that dealing with the scum and villainy of Star Wars. Like the Bounty Hunter 1313 game from the PS3 era that was canceled. The Amy Hennig Ragtag that was canceled. Now she's working on the Black Panther Captain America game. So, like, there are multiple versions of this type of game that have never seen a light of day. And we finally got one. And I think it looks sensational.
Yeah.
Everything about it looks gorgeous. The gunplay looks great. Using your little guy to, like, drop objects on enemies to hurt them. You know, you got speeder. You got space combat. You can customize your character. You customize your ship.
The new creature designs look so much like these ones. They look so much better than things we're getting over in the Jedi series. Like,
yes.
I like it, but this is... I like that Jedi series fine, but this is exploring Star Wars the way I want to explore Star Wars.
And we're going to... Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
This is definitely something that I'm mostly interested in because it's different. Because a lot of times when we get a new Star Wars game, how many times does it involve Jedi? How many times does it involve...
It always does.
Like, either involved, like, the only one I would say is different, but it still has Jedi is Battlefront, because, you know, the purpose of that game is a multiplayer shooter.
You play as a Jedi in that campaign.
What is the other one that's out right now that you were just talking with me about?
Oh, Hunters.
Hunters, yeah.
There's Dark Jedi, though.
Oh, okay.
There's lightsabers in that game.
Sure.
Yeah, this one, I mean, it's Ubisoft, and I have some problems with Ubisoft, but by this trailer, and by the, like, seeing this, I'm like, this actually looks really cool, and it's really, I just love how interesting it is, and also how it's not a goddamn multiplayer game.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is Ubisoft, and, like, they are the kings of, hey, this game costs $120 if you want to buy everything. And, like, the thing that really pissed me off about this game is that they're showing Jabba the Hutt in all these trailers. He's a pre-order bonus mission. You cannot do that mission unless you pre-order the game.
Oh.
At the end of the reveal trailer, the very first one, it said the pre-order to get Jabba's mission pack. And that shit sucks. Am I gonna buy that pack? Probably, because I'm a shill for Star Wars. And here's the thing: I don't pre-order games anymore. But, like, this game looks awesome.
I'm really interested in what that means in terms of, like, your allegiances, because they specifically show, like, your allegiance to the Hutt cartel being important.
But that's the thing: the Hutt cartel can involve Nar Shaddaa and other Hutts.
That's what I mean. It's like, what other Hutts are we going to see? Because, like, I'm kind of okay with not getting a lot of Jabba content if it means I'm dealing with the broader Hutt cartel that isn't Jabba, because that's still freaking cool.
I could be wrong, and I might be wrong, but I want to say the 10-minute presentation showed a different Hutt, but I could just be wanting that to be true. But we see tons of different aliens. We see
recall that,
also Kira from Solo.
Yes,
Emilia Clarke's character.
Clarke's here.
It's not her, but she's in this game. I love that. I do
too.
I'm so pumped for this game. At the end of the day, you know, it might be another Ubisoft 7, but, like, an Ubisoft 7 is really, really good, because they make my type of open world games when they're done right.
I would love anything they can do to further explore what happened with Kira and Darth Maul, and, like, even if Darth Maul's not in this game, like, that's fine. But just, like, what happened with that whole Crimson Dawn bullshit, getting a little bit more expansion on that story would be really cool.
Solo takes place before A New Hope, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so this game takes place after Empire Strikes Back.
After Empire. Yeah.
So this is at what, a couple years then?
Yes. More like
5?
This is probably like 7.
7?
Or 7,
okay.
yeah.
5 to 7 years after the Maul
Solo,
stuff. So,
yeah.
like, potentially...
The Crimson Dawn
yeah.
downfall could be in here.
So if she... we might not see Maul, but she is the leader of the Crimson Dawn now, and she wasn't then.
Right.
So that could be pretty cool. That could be pretty sweet.
I'm just happy they're exploring it.
Yeah.
That's just really exciting. It wouldn't shock me if he's not the bad guy in this one, but if this does well, and I'm sure it will, and they make a sequel, I wouldn't be surprised if they do more Crimson Dawn and you ultimately having a confrontation with Maul down the road.
Yeah. And honestly, like, who knows? He might be in this game. Like, they really haven't shown a lot of like any secret stuff. No. Man, I agree. I've never been more excited to go to Tatooine.
I just kind of think I would prefer that they didn't.
Yeah.
I think like teasing up the Crimson Dawn stuff and putting Kira in it is enough. I don't need to get Maul in this first game. I leave us somewhere to go potentially.
And we know there's like a new crime syndicate who is like the main bad guy, and their leader's name is Slero, which is an awful good Star Wars name. He is the main antagonist, so I can only imagine that the Crimson Dawn? Crimson Dawn is like a secondary side quest kind of character. But yeah, I'm so stoked for this. Ben, do you have any final thoughts before we leave the world of Star Wars?
It looks beautiful.
It does.
It just really looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks good, but that Ubisoft BS of like pre-order to play Jabba the Hutt. It's like, you guys, you had something and you had to muck it up.
Oh, and you also get the Kessel Runner bonus pack if you pre-order.
Yeah, but I mean, if the game's good, then the game's good.
Yeah.
True. I mean, if the game's good, but at the same time, it's just like,
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
Here's the thing. I would rather, I'll be honest with you, Ben, I would rather have Ubisoft's bullshit of that kind of ilk and a good game than EA and a moderately alright passable game.
And a microtransaction riddled mess. Yeah.
That's the thing.
I'm the same. I would much rather have Ubisoft's BS with the game being fantastic than just middling.
I didn't even notice, but that was Lando Calrissian right there.
Oh yeah, Lando. Yeah,
I didn't even. I wasn't paying attention.
That's fair. Yeah. Lando's right up there. Yeah.
This is my favorite era. I love Empire. All the bounty hunters are out being crazy. I'm so excited for this, guys. I love it. I love Star Wars. You know,
having one of those droids with you, I'm just so excited.
Yeah. He looks so cool in a trench coat.
The potential on screen is so exciting. Like, Ubisoft's bullshit, but I'm just glad to be out of the EA only era.
Yeah. Also, like, as a guy who plays a lot of Ubisoft games, like, the games themselves are often pretty good. It's everything else surrounding it that the developers like who are making those games can't control.
Right.
It's shitty Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So like, at least they make decent games.
Yeah.
Moving on from a galaxy far, far away to medieval times of China, a fake China. Ben, how much do you like Dynasty Warriors? That's not the answer I was expecting.
Really?
The only Dynasty Warriors game I've ever played was Hyrule Warriors.
I knew it.
Calamity.
Wow. I knew it.
This is genuinely shocking. For some reason, I felt like I knew that you played more Dynasty Warriors.
I assumed it too.
Fanny did.
Sure.
My fiance.
I wouldn't assume that. But.
Well, Fanny's a cool gamer.
She is.
Fanny played Dynasty Warriors. Our friend Kai plays Dynasty Warriors. Jeff is a huge Dynasty Warriors fan.
My name's Jeff.
I never really got into it. The only time that I was thinking about getting into it was Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
But I never tried it. I've only played Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity because that was a gift from Jeff. And while I enjoyed it, to me it just felt very repetitive because I know these types of games. It's a one-man army versus there's thousands of other enemies. And
not a one-man army if you're playing with your friends.
Yeah, true. It was a two-person army. For fans of Dynasty Warriors, cool. Dynasty Warriors isn't really my cup of tea, to be honest.
Here's the thing: I'm not like the world's biggest Dynasty Warriors fan, but we haven't had one in a long time. And growing up on the PS2, like when I was young, Dynasty Warriors was a staple because one of those games would come out every single year, and like. They're not the greatest games in the world, but they're fun as hell. They're called Muso games, where it's like 1 versus 1,000, and like nothing is more fun than like seeing a group of 100 dudes going. Not even a problem.
Yeah,
I love that feeling. It's so fun, and like I'm not going to say like this even looks like the greatest game ever, but it's been such a long time. And like now that we're on the PS5 era and we can have really great graphics and we can have literally thousands of good looking troops on screen, like I could play one of these a year and be happy. And just like, it's a podcast game.
I will say, like, I'm really, this did bring me back to like, oh yeah, Dynasty Warriors. And like, I do think I got more enjoyment, frankly, out of playing with a friend.
Yes.
And like coordinating, like, I'm going to go clean off this side of the field. You go clean off that side of the field. We'll go get the guy at the end. And that felt good. And I remember playing that a lot. Seeing this, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I kind of could just do with an HD remake of like 1 through 3 and I'd be happy. Because like, it's cool to explore like these actual figures of Chinese history in those ones.
You are playing as the first time you create your own character.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
But in those games, like I really like learning about all these characters, and I think you could really do something cool with
Chinese mythology.
If this kicked it off and they did an HD remake of those first 3, I would make Ben play it.
Yeah.
So that would be fun.
Yeah. Like this definitely is probably gonna be like the definition of like a 6 or a 7 game, but like there is a type of game that deserves to be made for everyone, and there's a group of people who love Musou games.
Yes.
And Ben, like you played the Zelda version, so like because you love Zelda, you'll play one of those. But like I understand why Dynasty Warriors itself isn't exactly what you're looking for. In a similar way, Warhammer Space Marine is kind of the shooter version of that, where instead of having a big knife, you got a gun that shoots rocket launchers. So yeah, Dynasty Warriors, I'm glad it's back. Will I actually play it? If it's on Game Pass, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, guys, moving on to one of my most anticipated games. Yeah.
Same. Very excited.
We all used to play a little game called Overwatch.
Yeah.
And none of us play Overwatch. And none of us play Overwatch anymore. All of us love Marvel, whether it's comics, movies, games, whatever. What if they combine the two, and instead of it being a shitty cash grab, it's a legitimately great game?
Yeah.
That's Marvel Rivals, baby.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So there was a open alpha, which tons of streamers got to play. And then there's going to be a closed beta, which is happening in a couple weeks, I believe. Which you can try to get. We should all try to get codes for.
You have to be in their Discord, just so you know.
You have to be in their Discord, yeah. Somebody who may or may not be friends and or on this podcast may or may not have played this game, being cagey because maybe NDAs were signed.
Right.
But let me tell you, this game potentially is fucking awesome.
Everything I've heard, it sounds really great.
It's great.
Everything I've heard is like, take me back to the good old original Overwatch feels with Marvel stuff, and like I kind of don't care that it's just aping a lot of Overwatch stuff.
Yes.
Because Overwatch isn't Overwatch to me anymore.
Yeah.
So if this is how I get back to the good things I loved about Overwatch is this, I'm more than down. And I love the designs.
Yeah, the designs are incredible.
Yeah.
The thing that is so spectacular about this game is, like, yes, it is straight up just ripping off Overwatch, not in just team composition, the type of game it is, like, the way it even looks. Yeah. But the thing, it is going beyond Overwatch. Also, what's up, Galacta, daughter of Galactus? You are in 4 comics that aren't canon. Welcome to the Marvel Universe. This game has a team synergy, where if you're playing as 2 spider characters, let's say you're playing as Spider-Man and Venom, you guys have symbiotic synergy. So you guys can do cool things like play the last trailer again. You guys have cool synergy. If you have Rocket and Groot on the same team, Rocket can jump onto Groot's back, and you guys give each other damage bonuses and damage reductions. Rocket can also give unlimited ammo to Punisher because they are both weapons characters. So like there are tons of different synergies going on in this game between characters that is so fun to play. It looks great, it runs great, it plays great. The attention to detail, kind of like Multiversus, is top notch. Not only is there so much love for all these Marvel characters, they give, anytime there's a costume from the comics, they give full creative credit. So, this is from the Donny Cates Venom run drawn by Ryan Stegman, the Venom character.
That's
right?
Really cool.
It's so fantastic. Also, there's so much Krakoa representation in this game. Krakoa might be dead in the comics, but it lives full on in this universe, baby. Magneto straight up just has a Krakoa symbol for M on his back. It's great. Mm-hmm. There's a multiversal Krakoa that exists in this game. It's fantastic. I'm so excited from every standpoint. The only way this game could fail if it does like the most awful microtransactions, like every skin costs $30. Right. It is a free-to-play Overwatch game, but the gameplay itself is top notch. I love everything about this game.
That's a key thing you and I talked about, is like going back to kind of Multiversus is you have to at least minimum be able to try these characters out. If you have to purchase them or like earn them with currency or whatever, you have to be able to try them out before you commit to a buy.
Yeah.
And I really hope that they have that, because I think if they do at least that, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to be okay. I do wish it was actually following true Overwatch, which is where when you bought the original Overwatch, when they added a new character, you just had them.
Yeah.
And like getting skins was the microtransaction part of the game. But I know the fear is that that's not going to be how this is, because it's free to play.
Yeah. And honestly, the thing is, like, they will make more money over time being free to play. But and this is NetEase, and they make mobile games. This is their first console game. So, like, they are a microtransaction company. Like, that is what they do. Like, so...
It's definitely coming.
So it's coming, and like that is the thing I'm the most worried about.
Yeah.
Honestly, at the end of the day, like, if skins are expensive, that's fine. If I can earn them in game, that's all I care about. If I have a way to earn even if it takes me 100 hours, I don't care.
Which is how I felt about Overwatch. Also, was like, if I can just earn them, then it's okay.
Yeah. But again, this is a video game, and at the end of the day, you have to have fun playing the game, and I have fun. I may or may not have fun playing this game, because I may or may not have played this game. I'm not allowed to talk about it.
I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited to play this and to get that Overwatch kick
also
back in my life.
Destructible environments out the wazoo.
Yeah.
So good.
It looks really, really cool.
Look at that tracer shit. Love it.
I can't wait to play it, honestly. I really can't.
Hell yeah.
Ben, any further thoughts on this?
I just hope it's better than what Overwatch became.
I'm
That's all I care about.
I'm sure it will be. Like, gotta avoid those pitfalls.
Yeah. That's true. Speaking of pitfalls, hey, remember at the beginning of this game when two girls fell off a cliff?
Yes, I do.
Welcome to Until Dawn. We're just gonna talk about this for just a quick second. This is a remake of a PS4 game that came out almost 10 years ago. PS3? PS4?
PS4, I think.
PS4? Anyway, Until Dawn is getting a movie in next year. So they decided to remaster the classic Until Dawn game from Supermassive Games. I know Sparkz and I played this game. This is a Telltale-esque adventure game where, you're walking and talking, you're making choices, you're running from killers and blah, blah, blah. Ben, do you have any familiarity with this game?
I mean, I've seen like the famous hourglass versus skull and the cat logo.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, I have like no familiarity with this game. It's a horror game that I know people talk about that it's really good, and I was like, cool, but I just never played it.
Yeah, it's got Hayden Panettiere and Rami Malek and the evil agent guy from S.H.I.E.L.D. I forget his name.
Mark Ward.
Ward?
Mark Ward, I think.
Ward? I just remember it's Ward. Anyway, the guy from S.H.I.E.L.D. Anyway, this game is incredible. I love this game. I don't think it needed a complete remaster or remake.
Neither do I.
But I'm not going to say no to it. Right. If it's $70, I'm not going to buy it. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, but the reason I want to talk about it is I don't think it looks that much better than what I remember it looking like.
Okay, cool. See,
That's
agree.
why I'm bringing it up.
Here's the thing. I think the environments look significantly better.
Yes, the textures of the environments.
The texture, the lighting, and all that looks a lot better.
The characters, though.
I don't think the character models have improved that much.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
And I think the reason is because they can't get the actors back in the studio to remake them.
Oh, yeah.
So they're remaking it off of the character models from the original game. So, like, they're not animating off of the people anymore.
That makes sense.
I think that's what it is. And I think that's unfortunate because it does kind of make me sit here and go, I don't know, do I really need this? Because, like, I might play Until Dawn again. And if I did, I guess I would want it to look better.
Yeah.
So I guess I would play this version. But I don't know if I'd buy it.
This is a PlayStation thing. This is the same thing like The Last of Us. I'm like, I don't know if like that last game looks really good already. Like I don't really need to spend $70 again. So like
it does feel like this studio just like wanting to go back to the beginning of what this studio was doing before like the multiple Chronicles.
This is a different studio remaking it for the original.
No, I know, but it feels like it wants to be a celebration of that studio, even as it's not that studio.
It's because the movie's coming out.
This old game, yeah.
It's again, Last of Us had a TV show. We got to get the PS5 version out. Like PlayStation they're the worst about this. Of like, hey, Horizon, which is a game that came up 5 years ago, is getting a remake, a $70 remake, and I'm like, oh, hey man, people buy games. Whatever.
To be honest, there were some elements about this story that just never totally clicked for me and didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I'm a little like, but I there's like 4 others of these types of games that I'd rather play.
I'll tell you what.
I still think pop on the Quarry.
I still think Until Dawn is their best game.
Okay.
I think it's Until Dawn, then the Quarry, and then all the
miniature ones.
Those are not
the
very
short
good.
story
Those
ones.
aren't very good. There's one good one out of 4, which is a real big bummer.
Right.
And they're all famous people who starred in, which is a big bummer. But yeah, Until Dawn, I just want to talk about it. I think this game's really good. I don't think it needed to be remade, but you know what? I don't pay Sony's bills, so
Yeah.
All right, Ben, real quick, let's talk about Monster Hunter. Real quick, Monster Hunter.
I want to talk about Monster Hunter.
Did you play Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
You did? Did you play with us?
Yeah, at least once. Monster Hunter World, yeah.
You did, man. Years. This is what happens.
The years have
5
gone.
years go by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't played Monster Hunter World since forever.
Well, yeah, it came out 5 years ago. Why would you?
No, well, I fell off because I was really into it, and you and I were like constantly going in. We were kicking ass. It was awesome, and then I forgot what else came out, and I just dropped it completely. Not that I just think the game was bad. It's not. It's great.
It's an incredible game.
Truly. I just stopped playing it. Because when I finally did start playing Monster Hunter or Monster Hunter World, it was like, oh man, this is awesome. You get to all this really cool stuff, and the boss fights are really great. But I think what also just kind of like got me, I would say, a little tired was the if you want all the armor set, you have to constantly grind. You have to constantly fight it. Even when you do slay the monster or capture the monster, you don't get all the necessary requirements. So,
real quick, Ben, this entire game, it's about fighting monsters and getting their armor. If you fought every monster once and then got all their armor, what would you be doing for the rest of the 100 hours you're playing the game?
That's true.
That's the whole point.
That's what he's saying, is he doesn't want to spend 100 hours playing this game. He wants to spend like 30 hours playing this game.
Well, that's the thing. There was so much more that you didn't get to as well. This is the big game. So, I understand, but, this game is nothing but grinding. You fight monsters to get their hides. That is the game. So, maybe you just don't want to do this type of game because, it's not a story game. It's a game where you fight the same guy 10 times to get his sword. That's kind of the loop.
But Monster Hunter World did a really good job of bringing in these very crafting their own behaviors, the way they interact with their environment, all these things, so that you could really feel like you were engaging with them as animals.
They fought each other too.
And that stuff was really cool.
Yeah.
And the multiplayer aspect, bringing your friends in and working with them, was really cool. So I'm really excited. I've been waiting for World to get a follow-up game because we've gotten other Monster Hunter games that were not in that style. Obviously. But World was such a pop-off for the franchise that it was only a matter of time. I'm really excited that we're getting this because this looks like a ton of fun, and I want to play it with you guys. This is something I want to be able to play with you.
Look at this chocobo. Look at this chocobo you can ride. Look at these Apollo Atreides worms in the sand. I love it. Yeah, this comes out next year. I believe it's next year. It's been 5 years since the last true regular Monster Hunter entry. Again, Spark said, there's been plenty of other side games. But I love Monster Hunter is one of my favorite loops in games of hey, you fight a monster to get his stuff, which helps you get stronger to fight the next monster. And it's basically Elden Ring, except you collect the parts off the boss that you fight. And I love that gameplay loop. It is Capcom's highest selling franchise, Monster Hunter, by the way. So can't wait to get there.
Really excited for it.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, this is the last of the PlayStations. Please tell me you guys played the Astrobot thing that came with your Astro's Playroom that came on the...
Yeah, of course I did.
All right, so it's kind of crazy that was 4 years ago, and we still haven't gotten a better game that uses the controller.
This is something I was thinking about while I was watching the trailer for this, that I'm really glad they're making this, because I, at this point, don't believe we will ever get a game that will truly use the PS5 controller to its real... capability, unless it's unless it's Astro.
So if you have a PlayStation 5 and you never played Astro's Playroom, or you don't have a PlayStation 5, Astro's Playroom was a free game that was basically a tech demo for what the PlayStation controller can do and its new haptic features. And in my opinion, the PS5 is the greatest controller ever made.
Yes.
The things you can do, the amount of different options and types of rumbles and sounds and little jiggles, it's super impressive. It's incredibly impressive. And since that game came out 4 years ago, I would say no game has surpassed it. there have been plenty of uses of different rumbles, but Astrobot had you like blowing on the controller and shaking the controller and flipping it upside down, and it would yell at you.
The thing is that I think the Ratchet and Clank game was just too new to have used all those features properly.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been the game that did it.
Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, it was just too new to use all of it. It did use more than most.
Yeah.
But it really is like the PS5 controller can do so much more than you think it can. And we do not get games that are optimized to really utilize it.
Also, this just looks like an incredible platformer.
Also that.
Like you have you get costumes for all the PlayStation properties.
To a bunch of,
It just looks like a great time. Ben, I know you're a platformer boy. Do you think you'll check this one out?
Oh, hell yes. You kidding me? When I saw this trailer, I thought this is like the most adorable looking game I have seen in a long time. And one of the things I loved about Astro's Playroom was how it was a love letter to the PlayStation legacy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even seeing this game is like you're flying around the ship. Your controller is the ship.
Or the big PS5 warship that he's in. Yeah.
Like there's Parappa the Rapper. You got the journey, the swordsman from Shadow of the Colossus. You got all these. Like even earlier when all the other Astrobots were running into the PlayStation Studios logo, I saw Ape Escape. Ape Escape is one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games. And
Kratos. Nathan Drake. Yeah.
Yeah, you get this. I feel like this game.
This looks so good.
I feel like this game is a love letter. Like there's a PS3, there's a PS2, there's like so many different things that are celebrating PlayStation, and I feel that Astrobot is going to be not a sleeper hit, but it's a sleeper.
It's going to be a hit.
It's a sleeper anniversary game because this year is the 30th anniversary of PlayStation.
Yeah. Let me tell you, the streets are very excited for Astrobot because that Astro's Playroom game is like one of the most well-reviewed, even though it was like free tech demo short game, it is one of the most well-loved PlayStation games of the last couple of years. So the fact that studio got to just make a full-ass, 6 to 12 hour game is so exciting.
Yeah.
It just looks like a great time.
It really does. And I would be really happy if it got somebody to look at this and go, oh, we could make like a really cool platformer on the PS5. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we're at least getting this because Astro's Playroom does feel like this very special thing that we're just not seeing other studios be able to like really use the PlayStation for.
Yeah.
Because you have to make a PS exclusive to do it. And it's so capable, and I'm so excited to do this. I think this looks like a dream come true.
I jumped back into Astro's Playroom last week after this announcement, and there was an update, and there's new levels in Astro's Playroom.
No way.
100%. Brand new stuff.
Oh, God.
There's new levels in Playroom?
That's what I just said.
Oh, man.
When this was announced, like, yo, go back to that original game. We got new shit for you to do.
No.
I gotta go back.
God.
I played Astro's Playroom before I owned a PS5. I played it at my brother's house because he had the PS5 before I did. And I loved it. So now I guess I gotta replay Astro's then. Okay.
Yeah.
Man. This is so exciting.
That's a terrible thing. Astro's Playroom is amazing. And I do agree with everything with what Ryan said about how it was a tech demo, but it was a fun tech demo, and it was like this is everything the controller can do. And other games like going back to when I was playing Final Fantasy VII, it's like just pulling the trigger and just feeling the haptic feedback was like this is so cool.
This reminds me of like Mario Odyssey. The best Mario game is like coming to PlayStation just with a new skin. It feels like. Yeah.
And I just love the design of Astro himself and how they turned the PlayStation consoles and things into ships, and the enemies are these like weird looking aliens. It's just it's adorable.
It looks great.
It looks
so pretty.
It looks like a damn good game. So excited to be here. All right, guys, we're moving out of the PlayStation. We're moving into Microsoft. We're gonna go through some of these pretty quick because we're running out of time. This one's for me, and the only reason I want to talk about it is because they use Prodigy's Firestarter in the trailer, and I love Firestarter, Twisted Firestarter.
It's a great song.
I think this trailer, I have such a love-hate relationship with Call of Duty, guys, because the Call of Duty campaigns are incredible. Most of them, and I've actually revisited the ones I haven't played last year. Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare, Black Ops Cold War. They are awesome. They are exceptional campaigns.
Ryan, I am 100% on board with what you are saying with like the Advanced Warfare. Like I remember Advanced Warfare 2 when when Colonel Shepard betrays you at the end of the game. It was like the whole story.
Modern Warfare?
Yeah, Modern Warfare.
Okay.
Was Modern Warfare 2? Yeah,
Yeah,
Modern
yeah,
Warfare 2 where,
yeah.
where the Colonel betrays you at the very end. It was just like a punch to the gut.
Yeah.
And there are, I will say, Call of Duty, yeah, I also have a love-hate relationship with Call of Duty because as much as like, man, this story of this game looks great, but at the same time, it's like, I know what Call of Duty is. It is a bros multiplayer game where you get a lot of bad things in those lobbies.
That's true.
So,
But I haven't been a part of those lobbies since I was a shitty 13-year-old child playing Call of Duty 2 on my original Xbox. So the fact that Black Ops 4... This is Black Ops 6. Black Ops 4 did not have a campaign. This was peak Call of Duty only being multiplayer. And boy, howdy, that's when I left the franchise because it pissed me off. Because I'm like, y'all make the most exciting... I don't like police. I don't like the military, but like fictional police, fictional military. Like, I love that shit because that's fake superheroes, right? I love that. Like, yo, defend America fictionally? I'm all about that shit, right? So the Call of Duty games are super fun, super great, specifically the Black Ops because 1, 2, 3, Cold War, and this game, it's all the same characters. It's like Frank Woods, and it's like, what do the numbers mean, Mason? Like, so it's from the 60s to the 90s of these badass operatives becoming like bigger and bigger in the government trying to stop, evil terrorists. And like, Call of Duty, the fuck's going on with this? Man, Call of Duty's so weird. Look at this zombie stuff. Look at this stupid ass zombie stuff. I don't care about that. I'm here for the twisted Firestarter. I think this campaign looks really fun. One reason I want to talk about this real quick is this will be the first Call of Duty on Xbox Game Pass. Because now Microsoft owns Activision and all that stuff, and that's a whole other conversation we're not going to have because all that shit sucks. But for a consumer, I get all the Call of Duty games on Game Pass for free. So I'm excited for that. Firestarter, twisted Firestarter. Ben, this game was rumored a year ago, and I didn't believe this was real. Because the rumor was...
Doom Army of Darkness?
Doom in the medieval times. Doom Army of Darkness. And I didn't believe it. And then, Ben, I saw this trailer, and as I was watching it, I was like, Ben's gonna lose his mind.
I am so happy.
This looks so insane.
So excited. You guys know I am not the biggest. I like first-person shooters, but when Doom 2016 was a gift.
It's one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal is fun. I loved Doom Eternal, but I unfortunately haven't beaten it yet because there's this platforming bit that just like pisses me off so much. Mm-hmm. But seeing the trailer for the Dark Ages, seeing all this, it's like I am so ready to go back, and it's coming out on PlayStation 5. It's like, yay! Everyone can enjoy the Doom Slayer, like this gun right here, where I'm gonna take skulls and turn the chips put it into a literal grinder and use the chips of the skull as bullets.
It's the sickest shit I've seen in my entire life.
This and the inclusion of the shield.
Yes,
it's really exciting.
I think people have been calling it the Beyblade shield. I don't care. It's just like so. Oh, rip and tear.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is. Yeah. I am so ready. My body is ready.
Yeah.
It's like let's go back in and just like and also the Doom mech. Punching giant monsters, flying a dragon.
What are we doing in this game? Come on, you're riding a dragon.
You get to ride a freaking dragon and do the Godzilla thing on a demon.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Oh, yeah. Like when I saw this trailer, I'm like, Doom, and then it's like, oh wait, but Doom's owned by Microsoft now. I was like, oh, coming to PS5 too. I'm like, I was losing my shit.
Yeah.
I am so happy. I am so ready. I can't wait. This is one of those games where I'm like, because I love what Doom has done. Like there is a multiplayer aspect to Doom, but no one cares. Oh, nope. People care, but it's not as prevalent. It's like you come to play Doom for the insanity, for the absolute balls to the wall. Like, no, this is a game where it's like, you want to cut loose? Here you go.
I just love that he rips up his shield. God, yeah. Doom: The Dark Ages looks sensational.
Very excited.
This one's just for me. Also,
I'm so ready.
I'm excited for Doom. So this is Dragon Age Veilguard. This used to be called Dragon Age: The Dreadwolf, and they changed the name. And this was kind of the new. Hey, the game's coming out soon. Here's the new vision for it, and it very much looks like Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think this trailer is particularly good because most of the people on the internet agree. But I didn't want to let you guys watch a 25-minute gameplay video again because, as often happens, this is not representative of what the game actually is. It is not quirky, quippy Marvel dialogue like Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a hardcore RPG like Baldur's Gate, but except it's a lot more action heavy. This will be the 4th Dragon Age game. I love this franchise. BioWare, who made the Mass Effect franchise, they have their future series and they have their fantasy series, and they alternate. I'm just glad this game's back because we haven't had a Dragon Age since 2015 when it won Game of the Year with Dragon Age Inquisition, which is an excellent game. So it took a really long time to get here, and people were really worried about this game because development hell for a long time. Right. But now that we've seen it, it looks awesome, guys. The gameplay looks great. It is a you could be good or evil, choice based, that kind of RPG open world. So I'm just excited to be back in this world after almost a decade. I think it looks great. I love it. I love Dragon Age.
I do. I'm not gonna lie. I like the Necromancer a lot.
Yeah. I always wanted to play Dragon Age. I wonder if this might be the one. Probably not, but we'll see.
Considering it's a direct sequel to the last game, maybe not. But who knows?
It really has nothing more to do with than when.
Oh no, of course. Also, how often are you playing 100-hour RPGs anymore?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Ben, this is. I think this might be my favorite from the PlayStation Direct. This
game looks so interesting.
Yeah, this looks cool.
So this is a new studio, a brand new studio from ex-RPG developers. I forget which ones. I think Square. But this game is called Clair Obscur Expedition 33. And it is a turn-based RPG about a mysterious evil painter who every year paints a number. And if you are that number's age, then you will die that year. So 34 is written on a giant tree. If you are 34 years old, you will die that year. So every year, these people go on an expedition to try to stop this villain, right? And we are now on Expedition 33. And we see people who are 34 years old dying around. I think the style and the presentation of this game is next level, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It's also Paper Mario combat. You noticing you're doing you're attacking on beat? Yeah!
You got... It's very... I've seen gameplay footage of the game I'm about to reference. I've never played it, but people have said it's a really good game too. Vagrant Story, where it's very much... it's not just you push attack, you attack, and then it's the following turn. You also have there's a certain... it's either Vagrant Story or another RPG I'm thinking of, maybe on the PS2, but it's also beat-based or not numbers-based, but you hit X or you put certain button combinations and you do stronger damage or you avoid attacks. But either
it's Paper Mario, baby.
The combat looks the combat looks amazing, but even the story, the premise of the story is so you see. I'm looking at it, completely destroyed Paris, and the painter who paints a number, and you have to go find the paintus. Is just so, and even seeing someone you love literally get Thanos out of existence is this is so interesting, and this is the type of originality in games that people have been dying for. Not to say that there are no original games, there definitely are. There's one that the Xbox one that I would love to talk about that I really want to play. I might come over and borrow an Xbox so I can play it, but this one is this is definitely a game that can tote the line, or not tote the line, but that would definitely be a good argument of games are art. Period. Full stop.
It's. I think visually, it's absolutely stunning. It's one of the best looking games I've ever played. And the fact that it's also a turn based RPG is just really fun. And also, did you notice the voice? Who's the voice of the main character? Joshua. Did you notice Joshua? It's Clive. No. It's Clive Redfield. Clive. It's Clive.
Ben. What's his name?
Ben Starr. Yeah, it's the main character from Final Fantasy XVI, who's showing up in a bunch of stuff. He's great. He's got a great deep voice. I think this looks exceptional. Expedition 33. I'm sorry about your previous attempts at
really cool world, really cool visuals. I'm excited.
Yeah. This might
seems
be
like a sad time.
Oh, absolutely. Sparkz, you got to be excited for this one.
Unbelievably so.
This this is probably the best looking Xbox game that I saw. From also, like, the Xbox conference was incredible, the Nintendo conference incredible, Summer Game Fest incredible, PlayStation's was okay, but overall great times, great couple weeks.
Yes. We talked about this when we got the first teaser, and I said, like, this is one of my most anticipated games. It's all the more most anticipated. This looks unreal. This is one that, like, I have a kid, I'm going to find the time to play this game.
Yeah.
And I think it might be just in the scale enough of interest where my wife might actually look at it too.
This is the one I was talking about when we were talking about Clear Obscura, Expedition 33. South of Midnight was the one I was alluding to. Because just this one is another game that is like, you know what? This is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just like how the animation style is like very kind of
I love how it's like
the cinematic style is very different, but then gameplay is very smooth.
Yeah, we compared it to like a slightly smoother Leica when we watched the original one. Something that reminded us of their style of stop motion. But it's incredibly unique. It looks so cool. I love all the vibes. I love the look. I love the gameplay. I want to play it so bad.
The thing that I'm most excited about is the environment. It's a Southern Gothic action adventure that has Dark Souls combat. And anytime you put parries and dodges and heavy attacks and light attacks in a game, I'm gonna lose my mind, because that's all I love these days is that type of combat. But the thing that is so cool is the premise of the game is, like, she lives in Louisiana and a hurricane rips through her town, but when that happens, it also brings forth like a Southern Gothic mythology with the hurricane that takes over the city. So it's like
Wizard of Oz style.
Almost like a Wizard of Oz, yeah. And it's like Southern, like weird Southern mythology so cool. that honestly you don't get to see very often.
No,
like it is an environment and type of look you don't see very often in games. Again, having like a black protagonist is always great. But like, I think this game just looks exceptional. The combat looks great. Like, I can't get over how good the cinematics look. And it transitions seamlessly into the great looking gameplay. Like, this looks like a winner.
Yeah. You said everything I would say. Like, it just, this is, of all the games we've talked about, I have to be honest, this is my most anticipated.
Yeah. And like when you defeat a zone, it looks like you're
clearing it away and bringing
reconstituting
nature,
like the place it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I want this so bad.
Yeah. This game is going to come out probably next year.
Go ahead. This is the game I was talking about where I was like, I might come over to one of your guys' house so I can play it, because this is just gorgeous.
All right, guys. I'm just gonna cream my pants just a little bit. So Metal Gear Solid is my favorite video game franchise of all time, and Hideo Kojima has not been a part of Konami for almost a decade. So when the news broke that they are remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, arguably the greatest game of all time without Kojima, a lot of people got really, really scared. Because Kojima is a guy who, like, you cannot replicate his style without him. He is a singular voice. But then we got the first trailer for the remake, and I was like, oh shit. And then we got this trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, they did it. And it's the type of like feeling that, like, I don't know if a remake has ever given me before, because the reason Metal Gear Solid is so great, it is an action adventure stealth franchise where you can choose to do things however you want. You can take them out stealthy, you can kill them, you can sneak around them. It's all camouflage based, right? But it's also really weird and supernatural where you're fighting like ghosts and shit, right? It's very military surrealism. It's like my favorite shit that I love in fiction. The fidelity of this game looks unreal. Look how good that looks. I cannot believe this is the world's first Halo jump. Thank you, Naked Snake, back in 1966. Godzilla and stuff like that. You saw Halo jumps. The combat is just the combat. All the voice actors are back. David Hayter, who's the original Snake, he is back. He gave a 10-minute presentation about this game. I can't believe this is real, and it looks like it's gonna actually hit. And it is weird that they're remaking the third game in the franchise, but it is chronologically the first. Right. It is a prequel. So if they're going in that direction, they're going to tell the story of how Naked Snake becomes Big Boss, becomes the greatest villain in video game history, who leads to create Solid Snake, the greatest hero in video game history, is really cool to do it in chronological order. So if that's what they're doing, hell yeah.
Seems like it.
I can't believe this is real. It looks so good. This game is a life-changing game, how good it is. I'm just thrilled.
I have to also agree, this game looks absolutely stunning. I'm like, you know what? This might get me into Metal Gear Solid. This might be the first MGS game I play.
Hell yeah! I'm so excited. I'm gonna talk about this Perfect Dark real quick. Have you guys ever played a Perfect Dark game?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so Perfect Dark, it's like GoldenEye. It was a first-person shooter on the Xbox, but kind of like James Bond, very spy heavy. And then there was a 360 remake of Perfect Dark, and that was a launch 360 game, and I played that game too. Totally fine. This game has been in development for like 8 years. It's also being called the world's first quadruple A video game. It is maybe the most expensive game ever made, and that's what worries me. But it is doing lots of really cool spy shit. You can see through doors. You're doing parkour.
Yeah, it does feel like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it's very much like old school spy gadgetry that I really like. I think some of the Mirror's Edge developers helped make this game too. So there's a lot of really great parkour stuff. But this is just a franchise that is near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. And it's been in development hell for almost a decade.
Yeah, I mean, because the original came, because this is a Rare game, and the original came out in the N64, and actually, we'll talk about it later, but they just put Perfect Dark on NSO.
Yep.
And people have been wanting this game for a good long while. So, I mean, this does look stunning, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm really excited because the world is really cool, and like I don't think we get enough spy games that are super, super gadget heavy that aren't just trying to be something like James Bond. So like Joanna Dark is like a really beloved, like she's like a Lara Croft, of her generation. So like the fact that she's coming back is really cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Have you guys ever played a Fable game?
Yes.
I played Fable for a hot second on my buddy's Xbox because I never really owned an Xbox. And I was like, man, I really want to play Fable. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, I love Fable. The first 3 Fable games are fantastic. They are, hey, would you believe that they're open world RPGs where you can be good or evil and have like choice based narratives? That's what Ryan Eleopoulos loves. So the fact that Fable's coming back, it's been since the 360, since we had a Fable game, like it's been a really long time.
Right.
And again, talking about fidelity, guys, this looks insane. This looks so good. This is gameplay. And the fact that you're able to transition from great cinematics to gameplay, this is kind of a more direct narrative it is a choice-based game that I think this is kind of like, hey, this if you're evil, this is the kind of game it will seem like, as opposed to being good, because like he's talking about this evil main character that you play, and I just think it looks great. It doesn't really showcase a lot of combat, but I just love the look of it. The thing that I'm most excited about is we don't get a lot of incredibly dry British humor in fantasy games like this. Like a lot of really cheeky dry humor I really like. And I'm just really excited for it. We saw a trailer last year which featured giant troll grandma in a house. I think it just looks exceptional. I'm so excited. This game's also been in development hell for a long time, so the fact that we're actually getting it soon makes me excited, baby.
Yeah, it looks really good.
All right, next to South of Midnight, this was my favorite game from the Xbox show.
Not South of Midnight, mixtape.
Next to South of Midnight, this was my favorite game.
Sorry, it sounded like you were saying next is...
No. Next to, sorry. Next to... South of Midnight. Yes, this was my favorite.
This looks really cool. You shared this one specifically with me, and like, yeah, it's all vibes. I love it.
So since like a decade ago, there's this game franchise called Life is Strange, which is just, what if just like a bunch of teenage people hung out and things got a little weird? And since then, there have been a bunch of these types of games, and I've played some of them. This is the one that I'm the most excited to play because the vibes are so good. This just looks like a movie sometimes. Again, it kind of has a almost similar style to South of Midnight, where it's kind of stop motion-y. It looks part movie, part interactive experience where you're bombing hills with your friends. You start flying out of nowhere, like really weird supernatural stuff starts to happen, and it's just like this type of like a coming of age story is super fun, and I love it. Also, it's got a banging soundtrack from the 80s and 90s. It just looks like a really, really great vibes time, like you said, Sparks. Yeah. This is the most I've been excited about one of these types of games in a long time.
Right.
This specifically like gave me chills a little bit when I first saw it. I love it. I think it looks sensational.
To me, this is more of a movie than anything. Like, this is a good trailer for a movie, and then it's like, oh wait, no, this is a video game. So like, interesting.
Yeah.
But I do agree, the vibes are there.
Yeah.
Right. Ready to play that one.
Look at that, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Going back in time, going everywhere. All right, guys.
Also, I love the name of the studio, Beethoven Dinosaur.
Oh yeah. They're also a new studio. Lots of new studios. Please don't go shut down. All right, guys. From the makers of the Wolfenstein franchise, the greatest video game company who kills Nazis, comes their next game where you continue to kill Nazis. It's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. How are we feeling about this one?
This is great.
How are we feeling?
This feels like the Indiana Jones game we've needed for a long time.
Hell yeah.
I think that they've nailed the tone and everything of Indiana Jones. You obviously get a lot of that. Like, it feels like the movies. I'm mostly concerned about, will the gameplay be enjoyable?
Sure.
That's largely where it comes.
That's fair.
What it comes down to.
Considering it is Machine Games and like they've made nothing but first-person shooters for 20 years, like I'm not worried about it whatsoever. Because like all they've made are great pedigree of games. My worry is they're making not a 2-hour movie, they're making a 12-hour movie, and I'm wondering if they can they keep that excitement for the entire way. That's what I'm curious about.
I feel like probably. I think it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Because you'll have so much, this kind of stuff in between. Like, you're just getting more exploratory. I hope it works. I really want it to.
Yeah.
I'd like for it to succeed. I'd like I want more Indiana Jones stuff in this vein, or like animation, or anything, because we're done with live action movies, but we can still do more of this.
Yeah. Troy Baker, who is in every video game. He's doing a really good Harrison Ford.
It's not bad.
He is.
It's pretty good. Like there are obviously like people who do Harrison Ford in other games who could have been him, but like I think Troy Baker's doing a great job. I don't need him to sound 100% like Harrison Ford. He's giving me the air of Harrison Ford.
Sure.
Plenty. So I'm just. The fact that we're going to be doing like a lot of first-person puzzles, again, like Machine Games is just like they've basically been making these types of games just less puzzle-heavy and more murder. So they're just increasing the puzzles. Well, maybe keeping the same amount of murder because there's plenty of Nazis to be murdered. I'm sure. Moving on from Indiana Jones, guys. This one's for me.
Bunch of Nazis.
It's some Ubisoft bullshit, but it's the Ubisoft bullshit that people have been asking for almost 20 years.
That's true.
Oh god, yep.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
It looks really pretty.
So
It does.
this actually does look like the next evolution of Assassin's Creed. This Assassin's Creed is a yearly franchise. They have been better.
How did that last one do? Was that received well? I don't.
Mirage
remember.
was accepted good. Like 7 to 8 range.
Okay.
7 to 8. It was a return to form where this is more of the giant open world, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla, the stuff that I've been enjoying. Again, giant open world choice shit. The thing that's so cool about this one is that you play as two protagonists. You play as an original character who is an assassin from the Assassin's Creed, so she is more stealthy. Then you're playing as the actual historical figure Yusuke, who is the first black person to be a samurai. One of the first foreigners to be a samurai. And boy howdy, that is just a cool premise itself is incredible. So you're playing as two different characters and they operate differently. Yusuke is a much more heavy brawler character, so you can choose what playstyle you want. But also, there's weather dynamics in this game. There's seasons, so like depending how long you play the game, the seasons will change. There's weather, so it'll be foggy, so the stealth will be harder or easier for you. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise because they are always good about representing real history and real places through the lens of a fictional battle between fake Templars and assassins, right? Like the Revolutionary War was actually because of the Templars, and like the slave trade because of the Templars. All these things are always because of the Templars. Anything bad in history is because people want to take over the world, right? So like here in Japan in this era, like why are the assassins here? Like what's their goal? I'm excited to see how they weave into the Shogun era, which is, again, Shogun's a great show. So like I'm ready for this. This is the exact perfect moment. I think this game looks actually exceptional.
I agree with you.
Hell yeah.
I recently finished Shogun. That game, that show is amazing. Besides that,
Yeah,
Shogun's so good. This game looks great. Assassin's Creed looks fantastic. It's like I've never played Assassin's Creed game. This might be the one that gets me into it.
Yeah,
for sure.
And the thing that I really like, and some people don't like this, but I like this. The more modern big RPGs, like Origins, which is in Egypt, they had mythological monsters that you fought. You fought a Sphinx, and in Odyssey, my favorite, which is the Greek one, you fought harpies and you fought cyclopses and minotaurs and shit, right? And those are just stories being told that did they actually happen, quote unquote? But the fact that this takes place here, are we gonna who knows what supernatural things we might fight in Shogun era Japan? Like that could be. I'm really excited to see because there's always a weird supernatural element to all these games.
Right.
I'm just really excited for people to be excited about Assassin's Creed game again.
For sure.
All right, real quick, Sparkz. We didn't play Gears of War 5, but guess what?
No.
We don't have to because this is a prequel.
This feels like the moment I saw this, I was like, of course. This was probably inevitable that we were going to do this.
Gears of War E-Day.
Yeah.
Which is funny because there's already been an Assassin's Creed. There's already been a Gears of War prequel that took place during E-Day. Just nobody cares about it. It's called Gears of War Judgment. That game's fine. That was a throwaway. We need a game to come out before the next big game, so we're dumping this game out. It's about Baird during E-Day. It's cool. It's fine. It's whatever.
But what people really want is Marcus Phoenix.
Marcus Phoenix
E-Day.
and Dom.
Yeah.
And it got so like this is really exciting. Going back to I love Gears of War, especially the early ones. The developer said that like they wanted to take it back to when we first discovered the Locust, and it is actually scary to fight one-on-one again. Because the further you get into the games, you're fighting tons of Locusts, and they're not a threat because you know how to fight them.
Right.
E-Day is such an explosive event where thousands of holes erupt all over the planet. Millions of monsters just come out of the ground all over the world, right? So the world is basically like defeated in like almost one day. And like, what does that look like? Like, I want to see what that looks like in high definition with our main characters.
Right.
So I'm super excited for this. This will definitely get me back into that Gears franchise.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's cool that they're doing it.
Yeah.
The only Gears game I ever played was Gears of War 2.
That's a good one.
I love
Yo, you cut through a giant worm in that one.
I did. It was so great.
Yeah.
So seeing this, I'm like, oh, I'm ready, baby. I don't have an Xbox, but man, if once
Gotta
I
get
come,
back to
if
finish
I
up.
if I get into it, if I ever get an Xbox or I get Game Pass, definitely playing Gears E-Day. This game looks great.
You got a great PC, so you got Game Pass, baby.
It's true.
All right.
I also have an Xbox.
Old Xbox. That cannot play the new games.
Yeah. That's okay.
Well, you're not going to play it anyway. It's fine. Okay, so...
I'm not going to play it soon.
All right, Ben. It's finally time to enter the era of Nostalgia's Bitch. There is plenty of old, but plenty of new. Why don't we take a look at one of our favorite friendships? One might even call it a brothership.
Yes. This is the year in the year of our Lord 2024. This is the year of Mario RPG revivals. We got Super Mario RPG, we got Thousand Year Door, and now we have Mario and Luigi Brothership,
Hell yeah.
which is a continuation of the Mario and Luigi series that started on the Game Boy Advance and continued onto the DS. This is like you know what? A brand new Mario RPG, and brand new because the other two were remakes. This is brand spanking new, and you know what? I'm all for it. I could play Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga thanks to the NSO because it's a Game Boy Advance game.
Yep.
But people love this series of the brothers just getting into RPG style hijinks, and the games have been well received throughout as far as I'm aware, there isn't a quote unquote bad game of the bunch.
This is my understanding
and the fact
as well.
that there's and the fact that we're getting a new one, I'm excited for it because I'm like, you know what? I'm all for a new one. I'm all for you guys working together. I love the art style.
Hell yeah.
Just please.
And I love
like this.
And again, I love that turn-based combat, like that Paper Mario combat where you got to hold A or hit A at the exact time to hit extra damage. Look at this. This looks so good. And also, it's a different art style than what they're used to. Like, I love the heavy lines of the black.
I really like the Mario and Luigi art style.
Yeah, this looks exceptional. Like, and this was the best Nintendo Direct. This was the best Nintendo Direct in a long time.
This year too.
Yeah,
it's coming out this year too.
Yeah.
So many great games coming out this year. It's nuts.
Yeah,
for sure.
So moving on from that, I want to talk about real quick, Ben. Just real quick, I want to talk about the Nintendo World Championship. Yes, because I feel like this could be a game that you and I could play together to see who's better at certain games.
Hell yeah.
I think this would be.
Yeah.
We want to do any type of like challenge mode or like competitive game. They made this for us because it's like, yo,
they did.
It's basically just like racing against your friends, and I think that's so fun. I think this is such an incredibly cool idea.
No, and that was what the Nintendo World Championships were all about. You had to like get through because when I watched a High Score, which was the documentary about like video games, and they talked about the Nintendo World Championships at the 1990s, they're like, hey, you want to get through Super Mario, you gotta get through all these games because where you get the most points was in Tetris. The faster you get to Tetris, the quicker you are. And also this physical edition right here, I mean, first of all, yay physical, but all the goodies you get with that physical edition is like this is when Nintendo, when they look back at their history and they honor it, and they do it in such a good way that just makes me happy, because it's like, yes, it's a bunch of old NES games, which NES it's an amazing system. I mean, come on, Nintendo loves that era.
Happens every once in a while that Nintendo properly honors its history.
Yeah.
It does, yeah. And I feel like this is one of them, and I'm really looking forward to this. I really, really want that physical edition. It looks so good.
Yeah.
And also just the goodies you get with it are great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Ben, talk to me about Fantasian.
Fantasian. So I have never this game, a lot of people were saying that they were really excited about this one because this is from the original creator of Final Fantasy, and you also get the original composer doing the game. Apparently this was it came out for a different system, or this is either was only in Japan, or it was very hard to find. It wasn't a wide release game until now.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking forward to this because this is an old school RPG where it's turn based, but you're about to see, you can also like change the trajectory of your attacks, so you don't have to, it's not, so you get to like change up your combat style a bit. And
that's cool.
Looks very interesting. And also, you like the whole dimension thing that we're seeing right there, you actually get to go and fight them and train and get better.
They call it
grinding as well.
They call it a dimension, like a dimension dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
A dimension.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Ben. I think this looks cool. I don't love the art style. I think it looks kind of almost kind of generic, a little bit, just a little bit. That's just me though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for the original Final Fantasy creator to make something, but like I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing a lot here grabbing me of like, oh, that looks really cool and original, except for the combat.
This game piques my interest, but it's not like I need to go get this now. It's definitely a game, if I hear amazing things about it, then I will definitely be like, okay, I'll check it out. It's not like Mario and Luigi Brothership, where it's like, no, I actively want that.
Absolutely.
Or other games that we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Sparkz, you didn't want to talk about Looney Tunes?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
We don't, mostly because we don't have time.
Ben, do you care about Donkey Kong HD?
I do, actually. I'm looking forward to this because I never, unfortunately, had the game on the Wii, and this is it's an HD remake. There is a 3DS version, and this remake does include the levels from the 3DS version. And to me, it's just like, you know what, another way to play Donkey Kong. My fiance, she really, one of her favorite NES Super Nintendo games was Donkey Kong Country.
Same.
And I enjoyed playing co-op games with her, which this game is co-op as well. So I'm like, what? Yeah, another game for me to play co-op with my fiance. I'm looking forward to it.
I'll say real quick that if you follow me on Twitter, then you saw me share a thread that it was really well done comparing this version to the Wii version, and how they've removed a whole bunch of animation and changed colors and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
that is a sad, another sad HD port, unfortunately, of this game in particular.
And I'll be honest, I don't really feel like this is a big HD remake. I don't think it looks like next level good, if I'm being honest. It kind of looks like that Wii game, if you ask me.
It looks worse, to be honest.
It looks something. I mean, I'll probably pick it. I mean, if I see it for sale, I'll probably pick it up. But to me, I'm just like, oh, sweet. I could play Donkey Kong Country Returns on a modern console co-op. I'm like, I'm okay with it.
Which one was on the Game Boy? Was it Donkey Kong Country, the first one?
Or it was Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Okay, I think that might be my
Game
most.
Boy game, you're thinking about Donkey Kong Land. Those are the Game Boy games.
Gotcha. Good to know.
I mean, they did demake Donkey Kong Country for the Game Boy Color, but
Real quick, I don't want to actually talk about this game, but I think it looks like an awful piece of shit. Funko Fusion, please don't buy this game. Please don't buy this game. I think it looks awful. Just looks straight up awful. Straight garbage. Moving on to Ben, I almost started crying. And Ben, I'm not even.
Just pause it. Pause the video. Don't go back. Go back to that part. Go back for the love of God.
I got you. I know. Right here.
This part right here. Do you know how I was watching this? I was barely awake. I was like, okay, cool. A bunch of other stuff, and then I was like, no, they didn't, but they did. Marvel vs. Capcom is free,
and they didn't just do it; they did all of it, because it's not just one game; it's a 7-game collection.
I tweeted when Capcom said they were gonna bring a bunch of stuff to the PlayStation State of Play. I was like, if they announce a Marvel vs. Capcom collection, but it includes the X-Men games as well, I'm a happy camper. The fact that we're getting MVC2, my favorite fighting game of all time,
arguably,
we're getting Punisher, we're getting all the Marvel superhero games with Street Fighter and MVC and MVC2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is a day one. This is day one. No stop. I am Fake Nerd Fight Night, where I will make this shit happen because I love Marvel vs. Capcom so much.
Yeah.
And the entire internet, like aside from the other stuff we're gonna talk about, this was the big takeaway. Like everyone was excited for, and also. I want to take you for a ride. That has been playing nonstop in my brain ever since. I hurry up and release this game.
Yeah.
We are ready. We are so ready for this.
I would argue that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the greatest fighting game of all time.
It is up there in the echelon. I will definitely say it is up there. It's my personal favorite. My main's Mega Man, Wolverine, Spider-Man in that order. I am just so ready, and I'm so excited for this game. And also, they're continuing. And also, the best part is that Capcom released a fighting game collection that was a really well received and really well made collection. So the fact that they're giving this the Marvel treatment is just. Everyone's excited, and now they're also jumping on the bandwagon of Free Power Stone, which I also agree. Free Power Stone, damn it.
God, yes.
It's unfortunately a little different with licensing, but absolutely, yeah.
But hey, Marvel's playing ball. Capcom is like, we're gonna put this out. The art that I've been putting on Twitter, or that's been circulating throughout Twitter, like with Cyclops and Ryu, they're not just shaking their hand because that is a secret.
They're dapping.
They're doing like the whole like you son of a bitch the pose, and everyone's happy. Like the I could go on and on about this game, but like you said, we have no time. But this was to me one of the happiest moments.
A wish fulfilled.
Direct.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Wish fulfilled. Damn right.
Speaking of fun times, tell me about a jamboree.
Yeah, we got a lot more to get into.
I mean, not that many.
Not that many.
We got like 4 more.
Ben's running on his crunch time, so I'll just quickly say that I'm really excited. My wife and I, this is a household that loves Mario Party, so I'm really excited that they're coming out with a brand new one that it really looks like they're innovating a lot and doing a lot with it. It looks like a lot of fun, really creative stuff going on. Super excited to play more brand new Mario Party, and the multiplayer aspect that they're bringing to it seems really great.
20-player mode.
Yeah,
it looks great. This feels like much like Sparking Zero for Dragon Ball. This feels like the ultimate version of like, the one-stop shop. Here's 100 games and a bunch of maps and all your characters and stuff.
I am really looking forward to this one. I'm actually excited for the new maps or the boards, I should say.
Yeah.
The Raceway one is my personal. I love the Goomba Lagoon. Looks great. I'm for a new Mario Party because the Super Mario Party was good, but this one I'm like, you know what? I think they've learned from their mistakes. I'm looking forward to this one.
110 games. That's a lot. Also, we got a friend in the chat. Mag says, "I'm gonna take you for a ride."
Yes.
Thanks, Mag. You joined us right at the end of our show, but guess what? You still have 2.5 hours of a previous show to watch. Speaking of, Ben, did you think this was a Link to the Past at first?
I thought it was like a remake of a Zelda game, yes. And then the second Link fell. I'm like, oh my god, it's something new.
Yeah.
It's something different.
Yeah.
And I will go on record saying I am 100% behind this game. I cannot wait to play this game. And for people who are like, oh, but what about this? I don't know. For the people who aren't 100% sold, I get where they're coming from. But here's the thing that makes me excited.
They're wrong.
Zelda games have always been different from one another. There's always been some new form or some different form factor, and the fact that they're not essentially making Princess Zelda a carbon copy of Link where she gets the Master Sword or Sword and fights through Hyrule, where you have to use the power of the Triforce of Wisdom. They even say in the trailer, wisdom is key.
Yep.
And you have to think about it. I am like, this is the shakeup we needed.
Sure.
This is the shakeup that Zelda deserves. And this, I love this art style. Like the Link's Awakening remake it's one of my favorite Switch games.
I think it was
so adorable.
I think it was a really smart decision to continue with that Link's Awakening art style for this. I think it really, for what they're making, it really, really works.
Ben, what this reminds me of is... it reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild. with all all the abilities that they're giving Zelda. It's like, yo, what if we made a Link to the Past type game, but with the abilities of Breath of the Wild? Because you're copying shit and you're moving shit, like you're using
Tears of the Kingdom. You're talking about Tears of the Kingdom.
Sorry, Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah. But like they took like elements from the newer game and like, yo, let's bring it into an older game. Because I agree, like if it was just Zelda with a sword, like, well, what's the point? It's like, nah, she's doing magical shit. She's putting tables on tables, baby.
What's her power? Tables.
Hey, also the memes have been great because it's like, and here comes Zelda with a steel chair, or like she creates an army of cuckoos and just points, and the chickens go murder Ganon.
This looks really, really fun. If this were just a traditional 2D Legend of Zelda game with a sword, I might not be into it. But the fact that it's Zelda with abilities that are different than traditional combat makes me infinitely more excited. Also, that Switch is pretty.
It is very pretty, yes, but that's the thing for me about Echoes of Wisdom is because it had to be different, it had to be new, and it had to be something that fits Zelda as the character because she's the holder of the Triforce of Wisdom. Everything about this makes sense. This is a Zelda game that I am extremely excited for, not because it's the first game where you get to play as Zelda outside of the CDI game, which we do not talk about. But this is something where people and gamers have been wanting for years, and we're finally getting it, and I am all for it. I cannot wait till later this year to play it.
Hell yeah. We all loved Just Dance 25. Just kidding. We're going to move on to a game I know I'm excited for, I know Sparkz is excited for. Ben, you like Animal Crossing, right?
I enjoy Animal Crossing, yeah.
What if there were hobbits instead?
I like hobbits.
Welcome to Tales of the Shire.
There are definitely times where I wish I could live like a hobbit and just have a second breakfast and 11 Z's and afternoon tea.
I think this is really cool. I'm mostly shouting it out because for my wife, this is an instant purchase. Nice. She's going to be getting this one and playing it like crazy. It's very cool to like, hey, you want to just like live the life of a hobbit in Hobbiton? And it's like, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Let's hope there's no like Nazgul event.
No, God, I hope not. I'm fine with just be like, let's just like be nice and chill and relaxing.
Yeah, I love this. I think it looks fun. They haven't said if it's multiplayer or not, but I have to imagine it is. Because like I would love nothing more than to build a little hobbit town with my roommates.
That would be cool.
All right, Ben.
Can you believe this wasn't his Christmas wish this year?
First of all, can you believe this? Can you believe this shit?
It's real. It's finally real. The second it said Cosmic Gear, I was like, no. And then it said Galactic Federation. I was like, Metroid.
Once it said Federation, I was like, oh, here we go. Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. And here we go. There she is in all of her glory. And just wait. You hear the classic music of of her
wow.
ship. And then you're like, oh baby, yes.
It's really crazy because like, yeah, this looks like Metroid Prime, but we haven't got a Metroid Prime in how long? How long was the last one?
It was a long time ago.
Let's not talk about that. Two consoles, and that maybe almost three consoles ago, because people are now thinking that this is going to be a Switch 2 launch title. Which, here's what I'm going to say: if it's a Switch 2 launch title, I'm fine with it. If this is good, if this game, if they're gonna do like the Switch 1, if it's gonna be Switch 2, if it's gonna be dual release like they did with Breath of the Wild, I'm not gonna be upset. I'll get it for my new console because I'm gonna be a Nintendo show.
It's 100%. The text, the tweet that they put out was, "This Nintendo Direct, we are not talking about the next Switch console." Like they said those words. So like the next Direct we're getting is about the Switch 2. This comes out next year. This is absolutely a dual release for both consoles. Yeah. Then Metroid Prime 3 came out in 2007. That actually like broke something in because that's almost 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It took almost 20, but also like this game looks exceptional. I would rather a game be good and take forever to get here than to release a shitty game. So like, this game was announced 7 years ago. I don't care.
Yeah.
We're here. And it looks like a real-ass video game, dude.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild went through the same problem. It was announced, nothing was said for years. And then when it came out, it became one of a genre and a generation-defining game. If Prime, I'm not saying Prime 4 is going to be the exact same thing, but I do have a feeling that this is going to be in the cultural zeitgeist for a very, very long time. Not because of how long the development took,
No.
but because of how well the product is when it finally came out, and it made the wait worth it.
People love Samus Aran. She is so cool. She is so cool.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I played through every single 2D Metroid game to get to Dread, and I loved every single one of them.
Right.
And it's cool that, like, again, I played Metroid Prime 1. I never played 2 or 3. The villain guy that we see here, he's from the end of that game. So, like, this is a 15-year cliffhanger that they're finally getting to. And I'm like, this is like the Twin Peaks of video games. Like, I can't imagine waiting almost 20 years for
since you mentioned 2 and 3, something else that excited me about this is that they didn't announce, as they sometimes will, that 2 and 3 are getting their like remake release.
Everyone assumed
which
that.
Makes me think that they're really taking their time to make those games just as well as they did the redo of the first one.
Yeah,
which is great.
If I had to guess, this game is more than a year away. I bet it's holiday 2025, and we will get 2 and 3 remasters. Before that, if I had to take a guess.
Maybe.
I'm all for it. I am 100% all for it. Well, unfortunately, guys,
that's it.
I really gotta go.
Oh yeah, that's it. Just let's say our outros. Thanks for stopping by, friends. I love you. Thank you for talking video games.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Couldn't be happier.
Hell yes. And guys, where can people find you on the internet?
Well, I'm all over the internet at DJ Tony Snark. Follow me. I talk about games and X-Men.
You can find me at Sparkz Witty on Instagram and Twitter, really just on Twitter, at Sparkz Witty, SPARKZ Witty, and check out stuff there.
And of course, you could find me yelling, "I want to take you for a ride" at BenMaga27, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. You could also find me playing Mary Frankenstein on Dean Dark, which is immediately where I'm going to go right after this. And you can also find me writing for Fusion Gaming Magazine, Old School Gamer Magazine, and GoNintendo.com. So definitely check all those out.
Real quick,
guys,
be ready on the lookout for a Basement Arcade YouTube channel where we'll start putting stuff up.
Hell yeah, because we're gonna be doing a lot more video game stuff in the future.
Take us out, baby.
I don't know if you guys could. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm in a new space since I want to do more stuff in this space.
We're gonna take you for a ride.
Hell yeah, we are. Anyways, guys, thanks again for stopping by and talking video games. It's always great to talk games with you.
Oh yeah.
All right. So until next time, guys, unpause.